Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening. The weather's changing here. Is it
Yeah,
changing where you are?
it's cooler here. We're in central New York State,
Yeah.
but it was about 60s today.
Yeah. Seems like, everything was so hot and unbearable, and all of a sudden it's back to cool. But that's what it's like here.
Yeah, just looking to say hello to folks coming in already. Of course, John Marciano is first and says hello to everyone. Sue R. is on. Willie B. Sparky Slag. Hey, Sparky. I'm not sure if Breeboo 75 is new. We'll find out. Dallas. Hi, Dallas. Born JW. Um, let's see. Wow. Okay, Breeboo is still over 100 degrees in Las Vegas.
Well, some places are pretty
John, warm still in
reliably warm.
California. Yeah. And it's cooled off. Now it's raining. Yep. Same here, Jay. We're not too far from each other. Hello, Matthew. Um, Malay Gray. I wonder how the weather is in South Africa. Born JW, born in SF Mission Congregation, SF.
San Francisco.
San Francisco, thank you. Joe and Fran, technical glitch, lol. Okay, I go by Brian. Okay, Brian, thank you for joining us. And we'll say hello as folks come in. Sten said it's 50 degrees here. Send some heat.
50.
Now, Sten, you're
Where are you,
again. Where
Stan?
are you? Are you in Australia?
Well, wait a minute. 50
50 degrees Fahrenheit.
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 Okay.
Yeah.
50,
Um,
50 centigrade would be horrible.
Yeah, that would be. Matthew said we have beautiful rain on the Cape of Good Hope. Beautiful rain. I like that.
South
And
Australia. Cold, huh? Wow.
yeah, lethal trip. Florida here. What part of Florida? They just had a meetup. I forgot to send the pictures to Shauna. Shauna, I'll send you a few pictures from uh, Daytona Beach. And let's see, Sten is where? Lethal Trip is in Florida. Oh, South Australia. Yeah, I thought he was in Australia. He or she, Sten.
Huh.
I always forget.
Ann?
Uh,
Ann?
Stian? Is it Stian? I'm not even sure. Dallas said 79 now, but it was 84 today in North Carolina. Let me send those pictures.
Mm-mm.
Excuse me a second. I have them.
'90s in Colorado.
Yeah, if you want to let us know what the temperature was where you were today and where you're from. Okay, let me see if I can find those pictures.
What is tonight's topic, Jay? The forgiving journey. The journey of forgiveness.
Yeah, an interesting topic. Let's see. That one. Okay, Shauna, there's just a couple pictures here from the Daytona Beach meetup.
13 Celsius. Boy, that's
13 degrees Celsius is
that's
how much?
kind of cool. 13.
You got your conversion.
Somewhere.
It might be in, I don't know what it is. Oh, it's right there. Look in that wooden round
Here.
where all the vitamins are.
There you go.
Okay, Sean, I just sent you. There's a couple pictures from Daytona Beach. No rush on those. Okay, let's see. Okay, a few more
It's
have
cold.
joined us. Sherlock 13. Hi, everyone. It's still 90s in Colorado. Cooler weather next week. I'm Cheryl. Hi, Cheryl. Yes. And Matthew, oh, you were checking 13 degrees
Yeah,
Celsius.
50-ish, 53,
50-ish.
54.
That's coolish.
Yeah.
Jay wants to know who forgive. So forgive who?
Think about it. We'll go over that.
Yeah, and we have a video to kind of go along with that. And let's see. Bribu says, I always say the benefits of forgiveness are mainly for the forgiver.
Mm,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's tough carrying something that's too heavy.
Yeah. It does. It weighs us down. It, darkens our day.
Slows us down on our trip.
Yeah, that's right. Why it's called a journey.
Well, part of it. No, it's kind of, I think it's an interesting thing.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it.
Brian Chase said 70s in Erie, PA. Hi, Brian. Jay, I'm going to go get some ice cream. Okay.
Oh, boy.
And Sten said, forgive those who are truly sorry. Yeah, sometimes forgiveness is not necessary, or what's the word? Not just not necessary, but not advisable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
We'll talk about the different things. So stay tuned.
Yeah.
Oh, forgiveness of ourselves. That's a good one, Jay. Or others. That's true. And Breeboo says, great topic. Dare I say timely too?
I think so.
Yeah, yeah, very timely. Okay, let's see. Well, we can do the birthdays while people are coming in if you want.
Oh, let's do the birthdays.
Okay, birthdays for August. And we still have time. If we missed your birthday, let us know. And how is our sound? Does anyone want to let us know how our sound is? 91 degrees in southwest Oklahoma. Denise Hedberg. Thank you, Denise.
I can't.
Okay.
I don't have glasses. So
Yeah, it says sound great. Our sound is great. Okay. August 2nd, Richard Quinn Wright was 40 years old, and we celebrated it in Tewksbury at the ExJW conference / convention, whatever you want to call it. August 2nd, Aaron Hawkins. August 3rd, Angela Carvalho and Marilyn Hopkins. August 4th, Jeannie Chestnut. August 6th, Jamie Bond, James Ward, and James Polaris. They're all J's. And August 7th, Lexi Paris Smith. They have their own YouTube channel. August 6th, our friend Vinnie Samilia from Massachusetts, and Joe's twin sisters, Patty Lieber and Chris Hamo. August 11th, Linda Jean Day. August 12th, Michael Shemwell. August 13th, Bob, we'd call him Bob on the program, Jordan Smalls. August 14th, Elise Torres. August 14th, Yvonne Samilia. August 15th, William Bowen. August 19th, Sal Guzman. The 21st, Anthony Marfino and Jimmy Price. August 22nd, it's coming up, Celeste Norford and Carol Ballard. August 23rd, Fred Lidbetter, Gail Kelly, and Evan Sullivan. The 24th is Effie Joe. 25th, Rochelle Umi. 26th, Marissa Gowan. 27th, Halima Farnsworth. 28th, Aaron Schoon. The 29th, Brooke Rays. And the 31st, Bray Lee Dunn.
London.
Excuse me,
London.
Ladon. Yep, see, I'm not using my glasses either.
You know,
Ladon.
hold that. No, you can't get the fan. I'm gonna get the fan.
Oh, okay.
Feel it.
Okay. So happy birthday, all. And we've got
Happy
a birthday song.
birthday.
Thank you, Shauna. Anniversaries for August. August 11th. Classes don't even help. Fen Yang and
Let me see
Rochelle
if
Umi.
I can-
August 15th, Bob and Isabel. Want me to finish? It's just a few, or do you want to do them?
Yeah, I don't.
August 26th, right here.
Brian and Indira Brown, 30 years. Congratulations. August 31st, Peter and Cindy Panella, Fran's brother and sister-in-law. Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary, everyone. And if we missed yours, please let us know. Okay, thank you. Happy anniversary, y'all. Hope you have a nice anniversary in August. Jane Spitfire, welcome. And let's see, Rebecca Wise from Texas, welcome. ST Copilot, hello, everyone. Okay, and let's see.
What was this behind?
Yeah, something's wrong with that. Might need a different charger. And let's see, anyone else? Okay, no disappearing early tonight. That's good, Sten, thank you. Okay, everyone says hello to everyone. We appreciate everyone's, the love that you show on this channel, the respect that you show for each other, the consideration that you have when everyone's speaking and you take turns. It really, we don't want to underestimate
No,
the vibes that are showing.
it just helps. I mean, it just makes life a little nicer. We had a conversation with someone, and friendship came up, and biggest thing that I see in friendship is mutual respect.
Mm-hmm.
You know, both make it their goal to respect the other. They don't have to agree with them.
Mm-mm.
Don't have to agree. Maybe disagree a lot, but still they respect them. They choose to.
Yeah, that's important. Otherwise, you're not going to have any friends.
No.
You know, when we were in that organization, we had automatic so-called friends.
No, they really were not
They were
friends.
not friends.
They were not
They
friends.
were conditional friends.
Yeah.
So now when people leave and they lose their conditional friends, it's like, well, how do I make real friends? And
They don't know.
we'll probably incorporate that into
Absolutely.
our program
Absolutely.
tonight. Upcoming events, August 22nd, Tacos Are the Truth, New York City meetup from 7 to 9 p.m. And if you go on the link, this is on our website, ExJWFriends. We have buttons, we have, there's our buttons. We have buttons, we have bumper, we have decals for the car that say ExJW Friends. We've been using it on our car. So far, no one has approached us. And we wear our pins. These are our new pins. So, okay, so that's Friday, August 22nd at the Randolph beer, 82 Prospect Street, Brooklyn. So if you're in the Brooklyn area on the 22nd, please drop in and say hello to Ryan. They're the Liberati group, and he puts on some very nice meetups. August 30th in Asheville, North Carolina, Asheville, North Carolina meetup from, from 3 o'clock in the afternoon to 7 o'clock. That's August 30th. Well, it's been a year since Hurricane Helena devastated North Carolina and surrounding areas, and we are finally ready to get back to meetups. Please spread the word, just not door to door, please. LOL, and bring friends. The brew house was under over 20 feet of water. It seems a fitting place to restart meetup groups in the area. Nothing can stop us. And there is a website there. You can check it out. I know a few people are going. I know Wild Wall and a few others are going. So let us know how it turns out and send pictures. Then we're having a meetup here in Frankfort, New York, September 7th. It's on a Sunday at 12 o'clock. And it's going to be in the house that I grew up in, 704 South Frankfort Street, Frankfort, New York. Bring a dish to pass, and you can call to RSVP 315-221-0130. That's my cell number, or you can text it. Let us know if you're coming. We know we're having some folks from Rochester, Albany, and of course our local area. And Annie's planning on coming, so we look forward to seeing Annie again. September 26th in Las Vegas. It's going to be September 26th from 6 p.m. and then again on September 27th starting at 12 a.m. They've got a couple different events going on. So it's a weekend in Vegas among other ExJW Witness to just kick back for a relaxing weekend. And they're going to be at the Beer House, 3790 Las Vegas Boulevard, Las Vegas, Nevada, on Friday. And then Saturday, they're going bowling at the Velocity Esports, 6587 South Las Vegas Boulevard. And that also is in Nevada. So they're having dinner afterwards. So if you're interested, the details are on the website, ExJWFriends. ExJWFriends. So check it out. Okay. And for those of you that are new to the website, if you look on page 2, we have counselors, therapists, and life coaches, friends. So you can go there if there's anyone that you want to connect with. They are all ex-Jehovah's Witnesses. We should find out if they're getting how the response is going, if anybody's responding to them. And if you've been in contact with them, let us know how it goes. Because sometimes the first therapist doesn't always work out. You may have to keep looking.
Yeah, let us know privately.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Anything else?
No, not yet.
You want to go to the video?
Let's go right to the video.
It talks about the name of the video.
What I like about this video is, to my knowledge, it's not by an ex-JW. It may be, but the way it's sounding, whether it's AI or not, I don't know. I can't say. It doesn't matter. What matters, it sounds like it's in the public forum, the public arena, where the public is now being exposed to the message about the witnesses. It sounds like something now that the public should know about, and that's frankly what we're all waiting for.
So it's about a cult or church. Are Jehovah's Witnesses a cult or a church? And it's pretty accurate. So see what you think.
Jehovah's Witnesses are often seen knocking on doors, handing out literature, and talking about the end of the world. Most people recognize them by their pamphlets and polite smiles. But the surface doesn't tell the full story. The question that people often avoid is whether this group is just another church, or whether it functions more like a cult. To answer that, we have to look at how they operate, what they believe, and how they treat the people inside and outside of their group. They were founded in the 1870s by Charles Taze Russell, who was deeply fascinated with Bible prophecy. He started publishing a magazine, now known as The Watchtower, and built a community around his interpretations. Over time, what began as a Bible study movement grew into a global organization with millions of followers. Today, there are around 8.5 million Jehovah's Witnesses worldwide. That number sounds impressive, but numbers don't tell you how tightly this group controls its members. Jehovah's Witnesses believe that they are the only true religion, not one of many. The only one. According to their teachings, everyone else, including other Christians, is part of a corrupt world system that's going to be destroyed at Armageddon. They teach that the world is ruled by Satan, and that only those in the organization will be saved. That belief creates an intense sense of urgency, fear, and pressure to stay loyal. It's not just a spiritual identity, it's survival. The organization is run by a small group of men called the Governing Body, based in Warwick, New York. These men claim to be the only channel through which God communicates with humanity today. They interpret the Bible, issue rules, and decide on doctrines. Their word is considered final. If you disagree with them, you're not just wrong, you're spiritually dead. That level of authority over every aspect of life raises serious questions. Jehovah's Witnesses are taught to reject outside influence. That includes higher education, political involvement, and even holidays. Celebrating a birthday is considered a sin. Voting is off limits. Serving in the military is forbidden. Listening to outside criticism is dangerous. They're taught to view the world as a threat, and themselves as persecuted. That mindset isolates them. And isolation is one of the key traits of a controlling group. In many religions, questioning leaders is accepted, or even encouraged. In Jehovah's Witnesses, questioning leadership is rebellion. Questions about doctrine can get you labeled as apostate, which is one of the worst things you can be in the group. Apostates are considered mentally diseased, evil, and dangerous. Not just mistaken, dangerous. And the consequences of being labeled as one are life-altering. Disfellowshipping is their term for expelling someone from the group. It can happen if you break a rule, question a teaching, or simply walk away. Once disfellowshipped, members are instructed to cut off all contact with you, even if you're family. Parents stop talking to children, siblings cut ties, friends vanish overnight. This practice isn't just shunning, it's strategic emotional control. It makes leaving the group incredibly painful, which is exactly the point. People stay because the cost of leaving is too high. The fear of losing everyone you know is a powerful deterrent. And that's not an accident, it's by design. When your entire social world is inside one group, and that group threatens to take it all away if you don't conform, that's not spiritual guidance, that's coercion. Another defining feature of Jehovah's Witnesses is the amount of control they exercise over personal life. They dictate what you wear, what you read, who you date, how you spend your time, and even what kind of medical care you can accept. Blood transfusions are strictly forbidden. This policy has led to preventable deaths. People have refused life-saving treatment because of a belief that receiving blood is a sin. That's not just religious conviction. It's organizational control that reaches into your hospital bed. The organization also monitors behavior through a network of elders who serve as spiritual enforcers. Members are encouraged to report each other for suspected rule breaking. Private conversations can become grounds for interrogation. If you're suspected of wrongdoing, you can be called into a secret meeting with elders. No lawyer, no recording. Just 3 men asking deeply personal questions and deciding your fate. If they disfellowship you, there's no appeal. Their decision is final. Your life changes in an instant. Some argue that all religions have rules and structure, but the difference lies in how far that structure goes. Jehovah's Witnesses create a high-control environment where independent thought is discouraged and blind obedience is rewarded. That's not just a church service. That's a system designed to eliminate dissent. Even the language is controlled. Members use special terminology that reinforces the group's worldview. Terms like the truth, the world, kingdom hall, theocratic ministry, and spiritual paradise. This kind of language creates an internal universe where the group's beliefs feel natural and everything outside feels wrong. It's a classic tactic seen in many high-control groups. Control the language, and you control the thinking. One of the most concerning aspects is their treatment of abuse victims. For decades, Jehovah's Witnesses have been accused of covering up child sexual abuse within their congregations. They follow a 2-witness rule, which requires 2 witnesses to an act before elders will take action. But child abuse rarely has witnesses. So many cases went unreported, uninvestigated, and unpunished. Victims were told to stay quiet to avoid bringing reproach on the organization. In some cases, they were made to sit in the same room as their abuser to discuss the incident. This isn't just a matter of flawed policy. It's a structure that protects the reputation of the organization over the safety of children. Multiple governments, including those in Australia and the United Kingdom, have investigated and condemned these practices. But the organization still refuses to abandon the two-witness rule. Protecting their image matters more than protecting the vulnerable. Jehovah's Witnesses also prohibit members from joining interfaith efforts, donating to other charities, or even attending another church's wedding. Everything must revolve around their specific brand of belief. Even their publications, like The Watchtower and Awake, are filled with warnings about the dangers of thinking independently. They're taught that even reading material critical of their group is spiritually toxic. So they don't engage with criticism, they don't allow debate, they wall themselves off from competing ideas. Children raised in the group are taught from a young age that people outside are spiritually sick. They're not allowed to participate in school events, national holidays, or even birthday parties. That separation can cause lasting damage. It creates social anxiety, distrust of outsiders, and a deep sense of guilt for normal experiences. When those kids grow up and try to leave, they face an identity crisis. Who are you if your entire life was defined by a system you're not allowed to question? And the teachings aren't just theological, they're apocalyptic. Jehovah's Witnesses believe that Armageddon is imminent, not someday, soon, really soon. That belief has been taught repeatedly, with specific dates like 1914, 1925, and 1975 being promoted as the end of the world. Each time, the prophecy failed. But rather than admit error, the organization reinterprets the meaning. The failed dates are reframed as spiritual turning points. This strategy keeps members in a constant state of anticipation and fear. Apocalyptic belief keeps people compliant. If you believe the world is ending tomorrow, you don't make long-term plans. You don't question leadership. You don't invest in your own dreams. You wait. And waiting becomes a way of life. It's a tactic that freezes people in place, always expecting deliverance, never building real agency. Jehovah's Witnesses present themselves as peaceful and loving, and many individual members are kind, sincere people. But sincerity doesn't erase the structural problems. You can be kind and still be part of a system that controls others. You can be loving and still support practices that silence victims and punish thought. The question isn't whether the people are good. The question is what the system does to them. The internal structure of the Jehovah's Witnesses isn't just strict, it's deeply hierarchical. The governing body is at the top, followed by elders, ministerial servants, pioneers, and then the general congregation. There's no democracy, no voting, no accountability from below. Every decision flows from the top down. The leaders are not elected, they're appointed, and they remain in power indefinitely. This kind of unaccountable hierarchy is a red flag when evaluating any group's integrity. Control in the organization doesn't rely on physical force, it relies on psychological control. Members are taught to fear the outside world, to distrust outsiders, and to view anyone who leaves the group as evil or corrupted. This use versus them mentality reinforces loyalty. You're either inside the truth or outside, in darkness. That binary framework shuts down nuance. It makes honest doubt feel like betrayal. They also use guilt as a control mechanism. Every mistake is seen as a moral failure. If you miss meetings, it's a sign of weak faith. If you struggle emotionally, you're told to pray harder and study more. Depression, anxiety, and burnout are often seen as spiritual weakness rather than human experiences. That kind of thinking prevents people from seeking real help. They suffer in silence, convinced that their pain is a flaw in faith rather than a natural response to pressure. Even romantic relationships are monitored. Jehovah's Witnesses are not allowed to date outside the faith. Marrying a non-believer is strongly discouraged, and dating is only considered appropriate if marriage is the immediate goal. Young people are told to focus on spiritual goals rather than education or careers. Many forego college entirely because they're told it's spiritually dangerous. The organization believes higher education exposes people to worldly thinking, which is just another way of saying critical thinking. When a system discourages learning, it's not about protecting faith, it's about preserving control. A major point of distinction is how Jehovah's Witnesses treat their literature. Members are expected to read Watchtower publications more than they read the Bible. In fact, the Bible is always read through the filter of Watchtower interpretation. There's little room for personal insight or interpretation. You're not encouraged to read other views, engage in interfaith dialogue, or think critically about different doctrines. The information is managed, and that's a form of control. When the flow of ideas is limited to one source, thought becomes limited too. They also place a high value on field service, going door to door to preach. This isn't just a recommendation, it's tracked. Members report their hours, how many people they spoke to, and what literature they distributed. These numbers are used to measure faithfulness. It becomes a kind of performance metric, a spiritual scorecard. The more you do, the more faithful you're seen to be. It creates pressure to produce results, not out of inspiration but obligation. People outside the group are seen as potential converts or threats. If you're receptive, you're a prospect. If you're not, you're spiritually blind or under Satan's influence. This binary view keeps members from forming meaningful relationships outside the organization. Over time, your world becomes small. And when your world is small, your ability to question it shrinks too. Even the act of thinking critically about the group is seen as disloyalty. They call it independent thinking, and it's discouraged. That phrase isn't a compliment, it's a warning. Independent thinking is framed as prideful, dangerous, and rebellious. This is one of the most telling signs of a controlling ideology. When a group fears your thoughts, it doesn't want your mind, it wants your obedience. Some might argue that people freely join, so the group can't be that controlling. But most Jehovah's Witnesses are born into the religion. They don't choose it, they inherit it. And from a young age, they're taught that leaving it leads to death at Armageddon, loss of family, and eternal destruction. That's not free choice, that's psychological conditioning. When the cost of leaving is devastation, staying becomes survival. The recruitment process is also very calculated. They target vulnerable people, those experiencing loss, fear, or instability. They present themselves as a loving community with all the answers. But the warmth is conditional. As long as you agree, you're embraced. As soon as you question, you're pushed away. It's not unconditional support, it's transactional. A healthy community allows room for dissent. It tolerates disagreement. It evolves. But Jehovah's Witnesses have a long record of refusing to apologize for past mistakes. Failed prophecies are rebranded, harmful policies are defended, and critics are attacked. That's not humility, that's preservation of authority. The organization teaches that loyalty to the governing body is loyalty to God. That conflation of human leadership with divine will is dangerous. It elevates flawed men to an untouchable status. If they're wrong, you're not allowed to say it. If you do, you're cast out. That structure doesn't create moral accountability, it destroys it. There are also serious issues with gender roles. Women are subordinate in every aspect of the religion. They're not allowed to teach men, hold leadership positions, or speak in congregation meetings unless under strict conditions. The organization teaches that a woman's role is to be submissive, supportive, and quiet. That's not just outdated, it's repressive. Financial transparency is another concern. Jehovah's Witnesses don't around collection plates, but that doesn't mean money isn't involved. Members are encouraged to donate regularly, and there are talks reminding them to give generously. The organization owns vast amounts of property around the world. They've sold off kingdom halls, consolidated congregations, and moved millions through real estate deals. But there's little accountability. Members aren't shown financial records. They don't vote on spending. The money goes up the chain, and the decisions stay at the top. This isn't a small, isolated group. This is a global network with influence, wealth, and legal power. And they use that power to silence criticism. In some countries, they've fought court orders to produce abuse records. They've paid settlements with non-disclosure agreements to prevent victims from speaking out. A group that claims to represent moral truth shouldn't be hiding the truth. Their stance on medical treatment has also created avoidable tragedies. Beyond blood transfusions, the organization has historically discouraged organ transplants and certain vaccines. Those positions were later reversed, but not before people died. The pattern is clear. Policies are issued with divine authority. Consequences follow. And then revisions are quietly made without accountability. Jehovah's Witnesses train their members to avoid any content that questions the organization. They call it apostate material, and consuming it is considered spiritually fatal. This includes news reports, documentaries, books, and even personal stories. When a group teaches its followers to fear information, it's not protecting faith, it's insulating power. Their apocalyptic worldview has real-world consequences. Members are discouraged from building careers, saving for retirement, or making long-term plans. Why invest in a future that's about to end? That kind of thinking traps people in a cycle of low ambition, economic insecurity, and constant anxiety. It's not spiritual, it's psychological sabotage. When young people grow up in the group and begin to question it, they're told to suppress doubt. Doubt is seen as weakness. They're discouraged from researching outside sources. They're told that leaving will destroy their lives. That kind of environment doesn't build resilience, it builds fear. And fear is not a foundation for personal growth. Many who leave describe a long, painful process of deprogramming. They struggle with guilt, loneliness, and loss of identity. They lose family, they lose friends, some even lose jobs. That's the price of autonomy, but those who do leave often say the same thing. It was the hardest thing they've ever done, and the best. Because freedom comes at a cost, but control comes at a higher one. When we ask whether Jehovah's Witnesses are a church or a cult, we have to look beyond labels. The word cult carries a lot of emotional weight, but it's not about emotion, it's about behavior. A cult isn't defined by what it believes, it's defined by how it controls. When a group demands total loyalty, punishes dissent, isolates members, suppresses information, and elevates leaders to unquestionable authority, that's not just a religion, that's a system of control. The real measure of any belief system isn't what it claims, but how it functions in people's lives. Does it foster curiosity or suppress it? Does it allow people to grow or keep them in fear? Does it open the mind or build walls around it? With Jehovah's Witnesses, every layer reveals a pattern of restriction, submission, and isolation. You're told what to believe, who to associate with, how to behave, and what to think. That level of control isn't guidance, it's ownership. And ownership of a person's mind is more powerful than any physical chain. When someone believes that their own thoughts are sinful, when they police their own doubts, when they reject their own instincts out of fear of spiritual punishment, that's not faith, that's indoctrination. And the tragedy is that many people inside don't even realize they're in it, because they're taught that leaving means death, both literal and spiritual. So staying feels like safety, but it's a safety built on silence. One of the most deceptive features of this system is how normal it looks from the outside. There are no wild rituals or violent ceremonies. Meetings are clean, orderly, and friendly. But underneath that appearance is a web of psychological control that affects every part of a person's life. Members learn to smile while suppressing their doubts. They learn to preach love while cutting off their children. They learn to recite the words without ever questioning where those words came from. That is not freedom. That's programming. People often hesitate to call groups like this a cult because the word sounds too extreme. But cults don't have to look extreme. They just have to demand complete control over thought, behavior, and identity. Jehovah's Witnesses meet those criteria. They don't just tell people what to believe. They punish people for not believing it. They don't just discourage outside perspectives. They criminalize them. They don't just ask for loyalty. They sever families to enforce it. There are people who've spent their entire lives inside this system, never knowing that questions are allowed, never knowing that disagreement doesn't make them evil, never knowing that love shouldn't have conditions. And there are people who walked away and lost everything, friends, parents, children, just for saying, I don't believe this anymore. That kind of cost doesn't come from a healthy community. That comes from a system that confuses love with control. Control isn't about spiritual growth. It's about institutional preservation. The body doesn't step down. It doesn't open itself up to transparency. It doesn't apologize when it's wrong. It revises history. It reframes failure. It punishes truth-telling. And it does all this while claiming to speak for God. That's not just problematic. It's authoritarian. Even when someone decides to leave quietly without challenging anyone, they're still cut off. They're labeled inactive and slowly treated as if they don't exist. If they speak out publicly, they're called apostates and smeared. The system can't tolerate criticism because criticism exposes fragility. If your truth can't withstand scrutiny, it's not truth. It's dogma wrapped in fear. There are thousands of stories from former members, stories of growing up afraid of birthdays and holidays, stories of refusing college because the end was always right around the corner, stories of knocking on doors for hours each week out of guilt, stories of children told that their non-witness grandparents would be destroyed at Armageddon. These aren't stories of spiritual liberation. They're stories of manipulation disguised as faith. The Watchtower's grip is so tight that even those who leave often carry the fear with them for years. Nightmares, guilt, and anxiety don't vanish overnight. The programming runs deep, and it's no coincidence. It's designed that way, because when control is internalized, external threats become unnecessary. You police yourself. You censor your thoughts. You become your own jailer. And yet, in the face of all this, more and more people are walking away. Quietly, slowly, painfully, but they're walking. The internet has opened up cracks in the wall. People can read the history, hear the stories, connect with others who've left. And once the illusion breaks, it's hard to unsee it. You start noticing how information is shaped, how loyalty is weaponized, how fear is packaged as love. There's no shame in having believed it. Millions were born into it, raised with it, surrounded by it. But there's power in seeing it for what it is. Power in asking questions. Power in saying no. Power in realizing that love doesn't require silence, that loyalty doesn't demand blindness, and that truth doesn't need to be protected from examination. The more you examine the structure of Jehovah's Witnesses, the more the label church begins to feel misleading. Churches can be flawed, even rigid, but most don't use disfellowshipping to sever families. Most don't tell you that your own thoughts are dangerous. Most don't demand blind loyalty to unelected leaders. Most don't claim to be the only people on earth who will survive an apocalypse. These aren't just quirks of belief. They're indicators of coercion. In the end, whether you call it a church or a cult, the impact is what matters. And the impact of this group has been one of division, fear, control, and psychological damage. Good people trapped in a harmful system. Families torn apart by institutional policy. Children taught to fear the outside world. Adults conditioned to mistrust their own judgment. That's not just religion. That's a system that puts obedience above empathy. It's important to separate the individuals from the institution. Many Jehovah's Witnesses are kind, generous, and sincere, but the structure they live under is built to suppress those very qualities when they conflict with obedience. The system punishes love that crosses boundaries, curiosity that challenges doctrine, and honesty that threatens control. No matter how well-intentioned the members may be, they're still operating within a structure that does not allow real freedom. And freedom is the core issue. Not freedom to attend meetings or choose which pamphlet to hand out, but freedom of thought, freedom to question, freedom to grow, freedom to disagree without fear. That kind of freedom doesn't exist in Jehovah's Witnesses. Not structurally, not culturally, not doctrinally. The organization can call itself a religion, a church, a spiritual paradise. But the terminology doesn't change the mechanics. What matters is how it treats people, how it handles dissent, how it responds to abuse, how it defines loyalty. And in every one of those areas, it functions like a high control group, not a spiritual community. So, when someone asks whether Jehovah's Witnesses are a church or a cult, the answer depends on how you define those words. But maybe the more useful question is, what do they do to people? And once you answer that honestly, the label becomes less important, because the effects speak for themselves. People deserve to believe what they want, but they also deserve to know the full story. They deserve honesty, transparency, and the freedom to walk away without fear. That's not too much to ask from any belief system. If something is true, it doesn't need threats to keep people in. It just needs to stand on its own. And if it can't do that, maybe it was never worth following in the first place. Thanks for watching.
Yep. We're here. I'm reading all the comments.
Yeah, great comments.
It's nice you stay connected with each other. You know, I just was remarking that we never know who's really listening to these, to this program. See, we put our name on it, Joe and Fran. Well, there's a lot of people in the different congregations we've been in that know us. They, not that we're famous, but we had a family.
Mm-hmm.
We were there. We had at least 5 congregations.
Oh my God, at least.
It's got to be at least 5. Well, conceivably, someone is listening, and I'm glad, and I hope they do, as well as Watchtower officials that are monitoring. Good. Keep listening. Keep listening. It's so important, because what we're dealing with here is, well, information that we can make a good decision about. Like religion. Is Watchtower a religion or a cult? And okay, so what? It's a cult. And they said, so it's not so much that it's a cult as just a point. A cult really doesn't have to be destructive, damaging. It does not have to be. For example, there could be a cult of, like a Mickey Mouse cult, but it's not damaging, just kind of weird. Or it could be a singing cult, where you, what's the singing? Karaoke. Yeah. You see, someone accused me of wanting to have a cult. And I said, I don't want a cult. But then I thought about it. And when I was hearing that many people enjoy karaoke, I thought, that might be interesting. A karaoke cult. And I don't think too many people are going to get hurt by it. They might enjoy it a lot. So think about that. So it's not so much something is called a cult or is a cult. For goodness sakes, I'm in a cult. Sure, culture. I'm in a cult. I was born into a culture. Wasn't asked. I inherited my American, Western, European, whatever culture. It's a culture, American. Okay, well, because it's a cult or a culture, now it's damaging. Well, in all fairness, there's a lot of damaging things about the culture that we're in. There really are. We're not here to analyze that. We really aren't. Not that. It's worthy of thinking of, but a cult could be damaging because of the effects that it has on the individual, the effect that it has. Now, that ties in with the theme that we have, and the theme is the forgiveness, the forgiveness or forgiving journey.
Or the journey of forgiveness.
The journey of forgiveness.
Yeah.
Look at it however you like. You think about humans. We're creatures. We have a brain. We have hands to do things with. We have legs, which are the largest part of our body, our legs. And they're designed to propel us, to journey, to move, to explore. Because we got a brain and an interest, eyes and ears, and we're curious. Oh, I'm interested in such and such over there. Well, what's over there? I don't know. Let's go see. I'll journey over there. We're designed for that. Humans journey. They 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 go on adventures. They're curious. Well, they can't do it if they're in prison. Number one, if someone's in prison, they can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
If they're disabled, they can't do it either in a physical way because they don't have that ability at that point. But yet they can still explore different things with their mind, with their. There was a commercial for a phone book when I was young, the Yellow Pages. It said, "Let your fingers do the walking with the Yellow Pages." Oh, it's so interesting metaphorically.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you open the book, the Yellow Pages, and it shows all the businesses in your area, and you can check out all different areas just in on the Yellow Pages. Wow! And just pick up a phone, and you've traveled there, so to speak, through communications. Well, now we look at our spiritual life. We're creatures that aren't just physical, we're also spiritual. We've got this interest, this desire to know things that aren't physical, that that have to do with things you can't see, with things you can't prove, but yet that are interesting for us. It has to do with our our spiritual interests. You know, is there anything more than us as humans? Is there anything above us? What happens? How did we get here? Why were we born? What happens when we die? Can we live forever? Will I ever see this again? Um, what will the future be like? How could we be different as a people? Um, there's so many things that have to do with our spiritual desire, and especially our desire to get to know God, whatever that is.
Mm-hmm.
Things, something above us, something beyond us, creator, source, whatever you want to call it. Whatever, you know,
It's personal.
it's worthy of our curiosity and of our journeying. So we journey forth, so to speak, on an adventure, spiritual adventure, learning that. Well, the government knows that. They just know that. They know humans. They have control of our minds. That's what government means. And government literally means mind control. That's what the word means. Government, it's a made up word, two parts, mind control. They know our minds. They know them better than we do. They know that we have that spiritual hunger. It's an appetite for things spiritual. Do you think they know that religions cater to our spiritual needs? Of course they know that. Of course they know that religions cater to our spiritual needs. They they developed religions for that purpose, to focus us into a spiritual trip in a very um, monitored way. They're monitoring and controlling our spiritual trip, journey. And they've got a stake in it because they know that if they can have some control over our journey, they control us. And if you think about it, there is a reason why they tax exempt religions, why government gives a tax exemption to religions. because they benefit from it. They wouldn't give a tax exemption if they didn't benefit from our spiritual journey. And if they didn't have some control in it, working together with them. Okay, so you're saying, well, my religion isn't government controlled. Okay, that's your claim. You claim it's not government controlled. Okay, that's your understanding. It may not be. But yet, just choosing to be in a religion is like the journeyer, the adventurer on a world travel adventure, getting to a certain country. Oh, I'm going to stop right here. I like the whatever here. The people are very this such and such here. There's there's incentives there for me to stay. I know I was supposed to, but I really was interested in other countries too. There's so many other countries, but see, there's such a draw for me to be here. People are so nice. Oh my goodness, they want me. Um, they promised so many things. It's a good place to stay, to be here. Um, and by the way, once you stay and choose to stay, they discourage you from going any further. Oh, you shouldn't go to those other countries. Those other countries, they're bad. They're evil. We're the only good country. You came to the right country. You're here at the right country. Or religion. So you join a religion and, well, aren't you convinced? What are you convinced of? That's it. This is the right religion. I found the right religion. I'm convinced. Okay. Well, so your neighbor who was on a world trip as well stopped at a certain country and they stayed there. And now they're no longer are they on their world trip. They're not journeying forth. They stop in another country. Well, you write a letter to them, or they write to you, or phone them, and they discovered the best religion, the best country. No, 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 no. I've got the best. I'm in the best country. I don't think mine is the best one. I don't know if I can. I don't know if I'm interested in having any involvement with them anymore because they think that's the best one. See, so immediately it's divided you because you've accepted one country, one religion as the right religion. You wouldn't be there if it wasn't the right one. You wouldn't, would you? Would someone join a religion because, well, I really don't think it's the right one, but I'm here? No, no. You're convinced this is it. In fact, it's so right. I'm going to preach about it. I'm going to stone everybody. I'm going to tell everybody I see about how they should be a member of this religion and the God that I worship the way I worship him. That's my mission. I've got to tell everybody that. Oh, gee. So now you go around. If you're ever around your friend, guess what you're going to do? Oh, you're gonna profess your religion to them. And what are they going to do? Oh, and see, they're going to profess their right religion to you. Oh, I guess we don't see eye to eye anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I guess. So not only did the two of you get your world journey disrupted, your adventure disrupted, because this religion stopped you. Now, guess what? If you had a spirit, your spiritual energy that you were putting forth in your journey, you no longer are putting forth that spiritual energy toward new things, toward other things. Your spiritual energy is focused right there. They get your energy. That religion gets your energy. It's like we're spiritual batteries. You know, I'm a battery. You're a battery. Everyone's a battery. We're all a battery. We all have this flowing spiritual energy that comes forth in whatever way. Well, religions know that if they get you to stop and stay there, guess what they're going to do? They're going to get your energy. They want my energy. They want your energy.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Well, they know what to do with it. Oh, they do? Yeah, they know what to do with it. They've got a mission. Okay, they've got a mission. So, yeah, see the religion I'm joining here. They feed the hungry. We're on a mission. They've dedicated their life and their energy and their spiritual life and energy to feeding the hungry. Oh, how beautiful! That's a mission. That's beautiful. It pleases God. Fabulous. Well, another one, your friend in the other country, their spiritual, the mission that they do is, I don't know, maybe it's uh, uh, promoting promoting riches. Could be promoting material wealth. How about that? Yeah, some religions promote that, and then they preach and promote material wealth. They're going to do everything they can in their power to promote material wealth. That religion has their energy, their spirit, and they're going to exploit it. Well, what's the religion going to do with it? They're going to figure out what to do with it, your energy, and use it for who? Not for you, for them. Just as an example that I can relate to, the spiritual energy that we gave to, for example, a watchtower was translated into physical energy by going door to door, promoting the religion organization to others so that they would join and that they would do the same. They would make new ones, new disciples, new prospects. Oh, and by the way, we also expended our physical energy on building kingdom halls, real estate development. They, oh, well, if I wasn't there, I wouldn't be able to put my energy forth doing that. I was there. We put, as a family, we put forth physical energy, building buildings, and what checks did we receive? No, we didn't receive any checks. That organization, Watchtower, received our energy, put it into building a kingdom hall that they said was dedicated to some god. They called him Jehovah. Oh, but by the way, they ended up selling it a few years down the road to some other organization. Could have been a church, could have been a bar, could have been, I don't know, could have been anything. I didn't receive any benefit from it. Yet they used my spiritual, physical energy, all because I chose to stop my spiritual journey and stay in that location as one of Jehovah's Witnesses. They knew how to exploit my spiritual and physical energy. Religions know how to do that. Religions are designed to take advantage of our spiritual hunger, our curiosity, our need, and focus it into their organization, and then do with it what they will. And guess what? You don't get any checks for it. But you get a promise. Hey, we're going to promise you. It's a transactional. It's like you do this and you can have this later on in life. Oh, you've got to wait. It's later on. And it's a wonderful gift. You can have it later, but you've got to do this now. And if you stop doing it, you're gonna lose big time. So you got to stay here. Okay. And so you
Okay.
choose to stay.
Want to bring Jan Clark on in a minute?
Yeah. If anyone else is there, it'd be nice to have you come in. So you come on this journey only to stop your journey because you were promised something and you expect to receive it.
Hi, Dan.
Hey, how you doing? It's Angela too.
Hi, Angela.
Hello, Dan,
Welcome,
Angela.
guys.
We just been enjoying the conversation. I think you nailed it there, Joe. Because we visited a lot of churches. You know, when we came out, we wanted to find that next truth. And what we found was just what you said, which was two things. What would happen when you went into a church? You had mentioned they want to use you as a resource. And so you're exactly right. When we went in, they call it gifts. We want to find out what your gifts are. And this was a lot of churches, a lot of mainstream churches would have you fill out a questionnaire.
Oh,
And then they would say, oh, you would be great at pouring coffee. You would be a great at the door. You would be great with the children. And they start placing you in these rooms and jobs, service roles.
wow.
And like you said, you become a commodity. Then
Yeah.
the second thing you said was exactly right, Joe, that it becomes a group think.
Yeah.
And I've asked many of them, you can ask Angela, I've said, hey, can I get baptized just into God? Oh, no. Here's our creed. And I mean, I said, what does the creed have to do with giving my life to God? And they said, so it wasn't like the Jehovah's Witness book that was an inch thick and you answered 80 questions, but it was still, this is our dogma. We don't
Yeah.
believe in the gifts. We believe in this. They over there, they believe in the gifts, but we don't over here. We're not
Yeah.
charismatic. So we could not get invited into any churches unless we accepted their creed, which means,
Right.
like you said, Joe, edging everybody else out.
Right.
So we never joined. We just kept, like you said, we stayed on our journey.
Yeah.
We realized we don't have to settle on anything. We don't
Yeah.
have to believe anything absolutely, or say, you know, I believe in Jesus, or
Changing all the time anyway.
it's changing all the time anyway. And we should enjoy our freedom. Like you
Yeah.
said, we've been under lock and key for 40 years psychologically.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I just wanted to share that. Did you want to share anything, Angela?
No.
But we just been enjoying the show. That was a great, I don't know if
Thank
that was
you.
AI or whatever.
Well, thank you. See, that's real life experience. You know, you experience what it means to go to different religions, and you find that, well, you've got to accept these beliefs, or we won't continue in the transaction. The Catholic Church has a creed, the Nicene Creed. I believe in this, blah 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 blah.
Yes.
Other religions, they've got theirs, and so you give your heart, so to speak, to that situation, and they've got you. Now immediately you no longer are on a spiritual journey to anything else except that one narrow track.
Yeah.
There you go. And can I say one more thing, Joe, before I
Yes.
go? I know other people are on
Please.
here.
Yeah.
I want to respect them. Two things I want to say. One is a lot of churches that we went into, you were on a very quick timetable. It was like get them into the cafeteria, give them a welcome meeting. And then it was, are they catching on? Are they getting with the program? And we've literally had pastors right in our face.
Wow.
What are you guys going to do? You know? And
Wow.
I want to say this too, Joe. You mentioned this earlier for you and Fran, but I want to just say this as far as being a victim, you know, as far as us growing up in a cult. You touched on it, but I want to just elaborate on it. But Joe, when we were born into narrow-mindedness, right? We didn't have an expanded version of life, so we thought we had the truth, the only truth. But so does the Christian.
Yep.
So does the Buddhist. So does everybody.
They're
So
all
the
right.
fact that we were put into a womb means we're all narrow-minded. We're all limited. We don't know much about anything at all. So like you say, Joe, until you go on an exploration, you don't know much of anything. So really Christianity, everybody's in the same boat. And if you think somebody else has got to die so you can live, that's no different than Jehovah's Witnesses. Christianity thinks everyone's got to die who's not a Christian. It's the same thing.
I
Anyway, that's it,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank you
you,
for
guys.
coming on.
Thank you.
Nice to see you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
nice to see you guys too.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
may
Good
Kevin
job.
and
Kevin,
Kevin and
Marissa, and Annie.
Annie. Oh, Kevin, Marissa.
Oh, hi, it's just me. Kevin is just coming home from work. I
Ah,
loved hearing you guys. We got
Whoops.
Wait,
Oh, you
think
lost you,
we lost you,
Carissa.
Marissa. Sorry. You there?
Well, keep trying. We're here. We're still here.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, we're still here. Come in as you can. We're going to.
Just make sure they can hear us, that we didn't lose everybody.
Oh yeah.
Can someone let us know that you hear
Are
us?
we still?
Hi, Joe Fran. I hear you.
Okay,
Annie?
thank you,
Okay,
Annie.
great.
Okay, we lost Marissa. Okay.
Well, she'll come back. And Annie, how are you?
Tired, but otherwise okay.
Yeah.
I did 5 hours of lawn work again today.
Oh my
boy.
goodness.
I'm tired.
Hard worker.
You
But
are.
I enjoyed the video. It seemed to me, I didn't hear every bit of it, but majority of it I did, and it seemed to be spot on.
Yeah.
I didn't see any really inaccuracies in it. And I mean, I don't have any experience with religions, with churches, because I was born in.
Yeah.
And but it's interesting that when I began to make it known in different settings, that I had left the witnesses, right away people wanted me to come to their church if the pastor was in my presence. I was in his presence. Then right away, oh, you should come to our church, and right away they wanted me to join. So, and of course I haven't joined anything because I'm just done with religion.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
But
They
but
like
yeah,
they
it's a
want
journey.
they want our energy.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
want our energy.
We
they
found the
must.
same. Yeah, we found the same thing, Annie. As soon as we let
Yeah.
folks know we're no longer Jehovah's Witnesses, they said, "Well, are you attending any church, or do you have any faith?"
Right.
And we say, "No, we have the love of people,
Yeah,
and
we have faith,
and
but
we have a faith,
we don't need a church.
and we don't need a church to go to. But we love people.
Yeah.
So wherever there's people, that's where our church is."
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Marissa's back with us. Hang in there, Annie.
Mm-hmm.
Marissa.
hi.
Hello
Try
again.
I
again.
enjoyed. Sorry about that. It could have been my
Okay.
internet or something funny.
Yeah. It's okay.
Oh,
Oh.
oh boy,
Wow.
she's got bad internet
Yeah,
tonight.
spotty. Okay, well, come back when you can, Marissa. Matthew, hello. Hello, Matthew.
Unmute yourself,
Hi,
Matthew. There you
Joe
go.
Fran. Sorry, I
That's
just
okay.
decided
Thank you
to
for joining.
mute. Well, thank you for the invitation. It's good to be with you. Yeah, I know. I thought your theme on forgiveness is profound there. I saw that somebody said forgive yourself and forgive others, but I also found it intriguing that you can't also enable somebody who's an abuser as well, because if you start absolving their guilt and saying, look, I forgive you, and you're releasing that person, it creates more harm. So it depends on what kind of situation, of course.
Absolutely.
I do appreciate that it's important for our own mental health, but man, we've got some real terrible
Matthew,
elements there.
and it's a journey in that it's a complicated journey at times. Forgiveness is a complicated. You look at a map sometime, and maybe it's a simple map, simple roads, and it's like, oh, I can follow that, no problem. But then there could be a series of turns and switchbacks, and you look at it and say, I don't understand how to go forward. And forgiveness is like that sometimes. I don't know how I can forgive this person. I don't know if I should. I don't feel that and you need to navigate that. It has to be navigated. And that's where it takes some deeper understanding, involvement with others. Sometimes we can't just hide it within ourselves. We need the benefit of others who've been through it before to navigate it.
I take it, Joe, that you'd seen a pattern where this is very current right now, this matter of forgiving or forgiving in the right kind of way and having the right kind of balance.
Yeah, I think anyone that continues to live will find that. There's always something that comes up. There's always something that challenges our forgiveness, our forgiving.
I think Marissa wants to try again. Marissa.
I'm so sorry. I don't know what's going on here.
Sunspots. It's okay.
Yeah.
Keep trying, Marissa.
I just wanted to share something. One of the things that has hurt my heart having left the cult is seeing so many people, as you and Fran have seen, how many people are hurting, and sometimes they have to be angry. It's part of the process, I think, of just healing and mourning the loss of so much. But I see so many people that stay in the angry state, and I think the hardest part for me is to see them assign a lack of love from people that are shunning them. And I know it hurts because we're being shunned by everybody too. But today, Kevin got a text in the morning, and he goes, honey, he was getting ready for work. He said, guess who texted me? And I said, your sister. And he was like, close, it was a cousin of his.
Wow.
And she is so scared.
Wow.
But it was so beautiful. She doesn't want to text. She doesn't want him to text her regularly or anything. But she said, I love you, and I think of you, and I miss you. And I had been encouraging Kevin to and he's good at this anyways on his own, but to send texts to people on anniversaries of death. And his aunt had died, her mom, and so he would send her something, and he never got a response from her in 3 years.
Wow.
And finally, you could hear in her text the angst that it came, it like the courage that she had to have and the love to overcome the fear. And so I think I just wanted to share that it really helps us, having been shunned and treated like lepers, and the emotional distress that comes with that. It really helps us if we can develop the mind of what we're talking about, right? Forgiveness and understanding that it hurts people just as much as it hurts us to shun. And if we can carry that with us, we'll have a lighter, you know what I'm saying? I just, that's all I wanted to share. We were just rejoicing.
Oh yeah. No, look, that we need to go forward forgiving. And that's otherwise we, like you said, we carry a burden that we weren't designed to carry. You think about it. If you got 100 people in a room and they can all talk to each other until one of them does something wrong, now they can't talk to the other person. Well, someone else is going to do something wrong, and then another person, they're going to do something wrong, and they're not going to talk. So finally, it can get to the point where everyone did something wrong. Now no one can talk to each other. 100 people, they can't talk to each other because every one of them at some point did something wrong. Well, that's the position we put ourselves in. We lock ourselves out of our social interaction.
I appreciate you mentioning that, Marissa, because from time to time, as you know, our children are not speaking to us, and we do send them texts, and sometimes we send them individual, sometimes group. And, we haven't heard anything from them. We don't know if they read them or not.
We don't know.
But
that's okay.
We just keep putting it out there and let it happen, whatever happens. So we really appreciate that.
3 years he's gone without a single response to his text. So it's just a beautiful reminder to me, anyways.
That must have been
he broke down in tears. And then I started crying. Here he is going to work and he's crying. And it's just, I think it's really, part of deconstructing and healing is understanding that the propaganda that we had been exposed to it was a constant negative. We were
Oh,
always
it's
looking
terrible.
for negative things, not just in ourselves because we were
Yeah.
good for nothing, right? But also in
Mhm.
others
Oh
because we
my
had to
God.
police them. And then in the worldly people, we were in this constant state of fight or flight, this
Yeah.
fear, right?
Yeah.
So we never returned to homeostasis where we were
No,
calm or our
never.
hormones. And when we get there, when we've done the work, there's joy in even just being present and being calm, even when we're being shunned.
Yeah.
And like you said, forgiving, it's just, I don't know, it's beautiful when we can get to a place, and it just hurts me. And I'm so grateful for you guys going and just being a loving couple who provide comfort and solace to so many people that are hurting. You provide so much hope. So thank you. That's all I wanted
Oh,
to
you're
share
welcome.
today.
And thank you for sharing that,
Yeah.
Marissa.
Yeah.
Yes.
Really,
So
that's
helpful.
we look forward to something like that. Look,
Yes.
we were even saying that we don't even know who's listening right now who knew us or who
Mhm.
knows us.
Mhm.
There could
Yeah.
be, I don't know, 1, 2 dozens
Mm-hmm.
of people who knew us because we went to several,
We were
5
in,
or 6,
I
10
counted about
congregations,
9. I
9
counted 'em.
congregations.
Yeah.
Wow.
Somebody's out there maybe listening right now. And
Mhm.
if they do,
Yep. Yep.
I'm so glad.
Mhm. Yes.
When you can, and as we're speaking to you all, let us know you're there.
Yeah.
You're loved, and we forgive you for even the shunning us.
Mhm.
You know, it's we recognize the the pressure that organization put on people. I felt
Yeah,
it.
and everybody's in such a different, we just got word that 3 people left our congregation.
Wow.
Wow.
And they called, they had reached out to me, one of them in April, and then they got scared.
Mhm.
And now she is, and everyone's at a different place. And my
Yes.
husband's like, oh, did you want to go and have lunch? I'm like, I'm here for her if she wants to reach out to me, but she's very angry.
Yep.
Yes.
Very angry. And I'm like, I don't know if I can handle that right now at this stage of my life, or because I've done so much work to just have a calm, I can't take that much heartache anymore because of caring for my
It's a
parents,
challenge. It's a
Yeah.
challenge. It truly is.
it's so sad to see her just, she might get a divorce from her husband. I don't know.
Yeah.
They're just in a
Mm.
bad
And
place because he's still in.
see, and that's part of her journey.
Exactly.
It really is. That doesn't end. And
Exactly.
you have to allow yourself to be able to make another step in that journey
Mhm.
rather than to stay fixed at a certain point. If a person
Yeah.
says, I'll never forgive, I'll never forgive. It's like, well, keep an open mind. Maybe you will
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
after
Yeah.
you've been
Yeah.
through certain
We
things.
texted our children and we said, forgiveness is going to be the hardest thing that all of us have to do. But,
Oh,
it is possible. Thank you so much, Marissa.
Thank
We
you,
have so
Marissa.
of
many new
course.
people here. We want to say hello. Let's see, Tom and Richard. And we have June Ennis from the UK.
Wow.
And we have Brian. So, who would like to go first?
How about Tom? Seeing as you mentioned.
Hi, yeah, this is Tom.
Hello, Tom.
Thank you. I'm enjoying this very much. You know that recording that you put on was wonderful. Um, I wish that was available back when I
Oh,
Mhm.
me too.
first got married. After as a young man of my because when we got married, we decided. Well, I had left the organization when I was 18, and then I got married at 25. And we decided that we should check into some type of religion, and see what was available.
Mm-hmm.
And so we did what the last couple callers ago had mentioned about, checking with different religions. And, so we made appointments. We interviewed different pastors. We went to the
Wow.
churches first. We didn't really make appointments. We went to the churches
Yeah.
and we talked to the ministers. And then we met with them and questioned them, and we didn't have all that information about Jehovah's Witnesses. So all we had was my experience, my indoctrination,
Yeah.
my my new wife at the time. She had no real religious experience, but she felt that she needed something.
Yeah.
And I had studied other religions and philosophy and everything after I left the Witnesses. But anyways, one of the churches that we went to, the pastor was a very nice man, Pastor Paul. He was up here in Meredith, New Hampshire, and he was, I think, like Methodist or something. They're basically born again Christians. Very nice people. But when he found out that I used to be a Jehovah's Witness, he was adamant. Um, do not, do not even entertain those guys,
Mm.
because when he was a kid, he was a Jehovah's Witness, and
Wow.
his mother decided, or she refused a blood transfusion, so he lost his mother
Oh dear.
because they were Jehovah's Witnesses, and she refused the blood transfusion. And so I just, it was like, I assumed that he's very biased. Obviously, that was a tragic, experience for him. So I did not heed his counsel and his warning. But if I had that recording available
Yeah.
for me and for us to listen to,
Yeah, us too, Tom.
I think things would have went different.
Yeah, Tom, you're from
Because
New Hampshire.
we did end up becoming, she ended up becoming studying with Jehovah's Witnesses
Mhm.
and becoming a pioneer.
Wow.
And
Wow.
we had kids and we raised them.
Wow.
So I wish we had had that.
Tom, you're not from New Hampshire, are you?
Yes, I am.
Okay, wasn't sure, just checking. Okay. Thank you for joining us.
The Bible itself says, we suffer. My people will suffer for lack of knowledge. And we didn't have that knowledge. We just didn't know. We had a need, we had a hunger, we had an interest. We didn't know about the witnesses.
No.
Well, now the witnesses knew, at least the hierarchy, they knew what they were all about. They knew they weren't a God-fearing religion. They knew that they were Zionists, to be frank, which is why they called their first publication Zion's Watchtower.
Zion's
So
Watchtower.
you come to realize that it's a political organization dressed up as a religion, and you come to realize that you've been so taken advantage of and used. And had we known that, we wouldn't have been any part of it. But at the time you didn't know. It sounds interesting. And so what a lesson it gives us now. A cautionary tale. Like, I think we should be very careful. I think we should be more careful than we can imagine as to accepting anything on its face value.
Yeah. It's very late in the UK. Can we say hello to June and welcome?
Hi,
Hiya.
June.
Hiya, thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can,
Yes,
June.
June.
Yeah. No, it's really interesting, and I thoroughly enjoyed the video that you played. Everything that was said was it was just spot on. I had been a regular pioneer. I'd been working at different building constructions with my husband. He had worked for the WDC doing electrical designs.
Wow.
He did stuff in Africa. We did loads and loads of things.
Yes.
But the one thing that got me was when Jeffrey Jackson was talking about child abuse.
Yeah.
I had been sexually abused as a child,
Uh,
and I tried 2-3 times to get it sorted out. And they just didn't want anything to do with it.
no,
In fact,
no.
I was told by the Bethel, if you want to go to the police, don't expect any help or support. Anyway,
Wow.
so long story short, my ex-brother-in-law was put in prison. He was not a witness for abusing kids.
Wow.
I was one of them,
Oh,
and we had a court case about 1.5 years ago, and he was sent down for 27 years at
wow.
the age of 72.
Wow.
I was treated with more dignity, respect, kindness, and love by the authorities
Yes. Yes.
than anybody
Mhm.
in the organisation.
Yes.
I'm so glad you said that.
But I have not lost my faith in our Father. I've I'm an apostate apparently, and it's funny because a few others, like somebody else was saying earlier, when they heard me and my husband had put our letter in, they were like, "What? They can't have done that. There must be something wrong." They're such lovely people, caring, loving. So now we have a little group and we read the scriptures together. We check different Bible translations. I learned more in 2 months than I did in 56 years
Oh
Of
my
course.
goodness.
being
Of
Vic-
a
course.
Vic-
Jehovah's Witness.
Of course.
And I am far happier and feel much closer to our Heavenly Father and Jesus and the Holy. It's like the scripture says, a veil is being lifted off your eyes.
Oh,
And that's exactly what happened.
yeah.
I don't feel bitter about anything. What I do think is that what if we come out, whatever we've experienced, whatever we've gone through, we can use that
Mhm.
to help other people
Of
on
course.
their journey
Yes.
Of
when
course.
they come out. And it's not God's fault. It's not our Father's fault, and we can use those experiences. So it doesn't have to be a negative. We can turn it into a wonderful positive and be there to support
That's
other
right.
people.
That's right. That's right. I can see that forgiveness has been something that you've been practicing.
Mhm.
That's beautiful.
So
I
June,
will
did you?
I will never forgive
No.
the ones up at the top because they know what they're doing. They're being Pharisees,
That's
they're
right.
judging,
Yeah.
and they're robbing the everyday person of their relationship. And in fact, with the emblems and everything, they're just totally out of line.
Yeah. 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 Well, so,
Sorry for the rant.
no,
No,
I'm
no,
so glad
no.
you
Thank
offered
you
it.
for. Can I just ask you, June, did you recently leave? I know you said you were 56 years in.
Yeah, I actually only left maybe coming up to 2 years in
Okay.
October.
Okay. Wow.
Wow.
I,
Very nice.
I'm 62 in October, and so I've spent most of my life, and sort of friends and all the rest of it. Yeah, there is life after JW.
Of course. Of
Wow. Well,
course.
thank you for sharing and
Yes.
thank you for
Yes.
joining us. Um, we have, yes, you came from the UK, and we also have, are you Happy Thoughts or is that someone else?
Um,
Happy Thoughts is from the UK. They were in the chat. Um,
oh no, that's not me.
Okay, so we have two from the UK, and Happy Heretic was on from Holland, and Sten from Australia, and Mapalini66 from Finland. So we appreciate you all new some new folks coming on. We appreciate you joining
And
us.
if you want to be connected with others, we can do that.
Yeah, I'm glad you have a group there. That's
right.
really
That's
nice.
beautiful.
I just want to comment on the forgiveness thing. The person before said she would never forgive the organization. I understand that. I have learned how to simply let things go. I don't know if that qualifies for forgiveness or not.
Yeah. I'd
But
say.
for my own sake, I've just decided I don't want to carry anger in my body because it's going to weaken me and make me ill and take away happiness.
Right.
So I've just decided to just let it go.
Yeah.
And
No, that's it.
visualization is something that has worked for me over my life. So if I'm really carrying a heavy burden, I will
That's it.
visualize putting it into a balloon
Yeah.
and letting the balloon go and
Perfect.
watching it rise and rise and rise until it's out of sight.
That's
I
right.
like
Beautiful.
that. I like that.
Up through a hole in the sky.
Yeah.
Sorry, could I just make something clear? I didn't mean that I'm hanging on to anything about the organisation. All I'm saying is our Father knows
That's right.
that those ones that instigate and everything, like
That's
the
right.
Pharisees and all the rest of it, pretending to have the truth of the scriptures, then they will have their day
That's
before our Father.
That's right.
But
No, I
Yeah.
truly appreciate that. We understand that, and I'm glad you clarified that too.
Yeah, and that's something I tell myself when someone has done something wrong to me. I'll just say, well, they have someone higher than me
Yeah.
that they're going to be accountable to.
Yeah. Yeah.
So just
Yeah.
leave it at that.
It's so good. It's so as humans, we can bear a load. We can. We'll do it for each other gladly. If we know that someone needs it, we'll do that. We felt others doing it for us, and we truly appreciate that human kindness. But we also know that there's a load that I don't have to carry, and I'm not going to.
That's right.
It's someone else is going to deal with it, and it's not mine. It's so important for our health. It really is.
And it also helps you not to be judgmental to other people. When
Boy, does it ever. Does it ever.
You don't have to judge people because they're going to be judged by someone, whoever that someone is. Eventually, they'll be judged by someone higher than I am. So I just let it go.
That's good. You have that perspective, Annie, because you were born in, and you are older, and you just recently woke up. We see a lot of born-ins, young ones that have come out and having difficulties, forgiving and making friends and being judgmental. So, partly it's because they're young, they don't have the experience yet, but eventually they will as time goes on. Can we say hi to Brian? Brian's been waiting patiently.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hi, Brian. Yes.
Okay, wonderful. First of all, it's very good to be able to talk to you finally.
Good to hear.
I've heard your story, and I've listened to your journey, your story. And first of all, let me just say that it breaks my heart that your children don't want to talk to you, because I would have been the luckiest person to have you as my parents, I feel. Nothing against my parents, but, I just really can see that you're really good people.
Thank you.
Just wanted to touch on a couple of things. I had mentioned in the chat that one of the things I take away from having been a witness, and I was born in 1975, is that I would rather be judged than be conditioned to be judged. I'm sorry. I would rather be judged than be conditioned to judge others.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Because like I know there are people in there that are judging me that were once my friends. I'm actually okay with that because I'd rather not be the one judging them.
Yeah.
And it's hard being a witness and being friends with someone and then one day they end up leaving the truth and then you're left with, oh, they must have been led out by Satan or,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
and there's, it's not easy to just um, try to understand, hey, what happened? No, you're not supposed to talk to them.
Yeah.
And I like where I'm at better now. I've been out since the mid 90s and I had only good experiences as a witness.
Wow.
Um, and but one of the things that led me out was just realizing um, I couldn't see God destroying good people at Armageddon just because they weren't a witness.
Right.
I just did, And they said, well, people in other religions, they're a false religion. Well, it's real to them. They're following what they believe to be true in their hearts,
Yeah.
just as we're following what we believe to be true. And sometimes our journey takes us a different way. So when I was listening to you talk about our journey, um, I don't have the way I look at life now is that um, there is so much out there that I don't know
Mm-hmm.
for me to be burdened with absolute truth.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
I
my
only have
God.
I only have a small little bit of knowledge of all that there is to know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So why should I, think mine is the only way?
Yeah. Well,
Um,
that's where you get to find out that there are those interests that want to lock us down
mhm,
and use us for our energy, and they'll tantalize us with some treat like, well, this is the truth. This is this you will be saved. You can see dead loved ones. You can have this. You can have
mhm.
that. All these benefits, and it's a transaction, but it's a bad transaction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so, good for you for being on that journey.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, and I'll just conclude with saying, you know, uh, forgive me, my brain has a thought and then it takes off somewhere, gets bored.
Mine too.
But our perspectives are unique. Um, we're all, no matter where we are, we start somewhere different on this earth, and all the things we learn different things at different times, and go through different experiences that shape our belief system. Um, so, it would be nice, if the witnesses, just hear our point of view. You don't have to agree with it, but just understand, you know, uh, listening to our viewpoint doesn't invalidate your own.
Right. Exactly.
And I want to thank you for letting me share.
I'm
Well,
so
thank
glad
you.
you did.
Thank you for coming on
Thank you.
and hang in there. We'll, if you have any other thoughts, we'd love to hear from you.
We're here. Thank you.
Let's see, Richard.
I better write them down so I don't forget.
Yes.
Oh, you did fine.
Thank you so
Richard.
much.
Hi, Richard.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello, Richard.
Oh, awesome. Well, I just want to say it's been a great show. I missed the first like 40 minutes of it, but the little I did hear, it was absolutely great. So
Yeah.
I can't imagine how much more great it was before the 40 minutes that I missed.
Well, did you catch the video?
The video?
I didn't get to see the video. I
Okay,
always miss the video.
I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
I'll send it to you,
get
Richard.
Yeah, I definitely want to see it. Yeah, but thanks again for all the birthday wishes as well. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
It was a very special birthday this time. Very.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
Glad you were born.
Thank you. Glad to have you. Leading everything. You're doing a great job, both of you, and I appreciate.
Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. It's
I
so
hope
good to know you.
you're
Yes.
welcome. Yeah, I really do. And thanks, everybody. Thank you.
You're welcome from everyone. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're just so glad to see that we have so many new people. And Angela's back. Hi, Angela.
Hi there, guys.
Hello, Angela.
Hi. I just didn't want to butt in just when it's my turn to let me know.
Oh, go ahead.
It's your turn.
Okay. Well, I was just going to share that, interesting you're talking about forgiveness because I just put out a video yesterday about how thrilled and excited I was that finally, after 21 years of not having a relationship with my children, that it finally didn't hurt so bad, and I don't know, I felt at peace in my soul finally, but it took that long
Yeah,
because every year when it rolls around, when each of my children's birthdays,
yeah,
it's just agony,
yeah.
and but my son turned 40 yesterday.
Wow.
And so every year, what I've been doing for the big special years is I've been making a cake or buying one, and then getting some balloons, and then I light the candle and I do a video and I sing to them and I just talk to them and say nice things, and I'll show them pictures or an album that I made for them or something. And that's what I sing happy birthday and then, say what I love about them. And then that's it. So that's what I did. And I never hear anything back or anything. I used to send for years and years and years Christmas presents and stuff, and I'd never hear a single thing. And anyway, it's been a weird ride, but I think like they said about different belief systems, I've come to believe that I feel if it's this is my view that we live more than one life because I saw so many near death experiencers, and because of that, I thought, you know what, it's not like this is my only life that I have, and this is just my opinion. And so knowing and feeling that this is the way it is because of, like I said, the near death experiencers saying, no, absolutely, we live more than one life. And I heard somebody in person that said it that I could not doubt him. He was so sincere. And I realized, if this is the life that I have to learn how to accept what it's like to be rejected or, abused by them and abandoned, I don't know, whatever those different feelings and emotions we have to overcome and we have to learn how to forgive, then this is good. And we're overcoming and I'm rising above it and I'm learning how to love anyway. And I don't know, it's just been a growth experience for me, honestly. And then I realized too that all children are God's children. So God showed me early on that, don't just pray for your own children. I felt like he was telling me that one day because I have many, many children. And so, and sure enough, I ended up being used by God to work in a jail. And everybody said to me, Angela, you're like the mom to our children when we can't be. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a weird thing you said there. But I love all children now, not just praying for my own. So I don't know. God is good, and He knows what He's doing. And some people think, how would God do that? You must have done something wrong. Whatever. It's like, no, I just don't believe that. Everybody said I was the best mom ever, ever, ever. Everyone said that about me. But things happen, and just because things happen doesn't mean you did something wrong. Jesus didn't do anything wrong either, and he suffered a lot from his brothers and sisters, especially his brothers, and he went through a lot. And he said that our enemies would be those of our own household. So if that's the way it is, then we just have to learn how to forgive them and knowing that if they could do better, they would. And like I said in my video, I'm probably living another life simultaneously as this one where I'm getting along great with that son, right? So, so just learn the lessons, rise above it, learn how to forgive. And it's not easy to forgive sometimes, but I just know that over time, it's been 21 years, you finally can if you're willing. And I believe in asking God, would you help me to forgive? I'm willing to forgive, but I need you to help me. And He's been great with me, just helping me because I've had to forgive a lot of people. About all this stuff, as you all have. So anyway, it's possible, but I think God has to help us with all of that. I really do. So that's it.
Well,
That's all I wanted to say.
well, your open-mindedness
I
obviously
want to.
opens you up to all these good things, and I
Yeah.
think
Angela,
that's
sorry, could I just ask? I know you were never a witness. If you don't mind me asking, why is it your children shun you?
Well, because I was in a secondary cult. So I was in Worldwide Church of God, which is like Jehovah's Witness
Right.
Jewish.
Okay.
But unfortunately, do you know, like when you're used to obeying orders from other people, you just kind of naturally end up with people or cults or groups that are similar. They tell you what to do. And anyway, unfortunately, I ended up being, in that situation, cult hopping. My husband became the cult leader, and and he was channeling Jesus, and it was so wonderful for 16 and a half years. I mean, it was crazy, you guys, what went on. You wouldn't believe it. It's like everything that was needing to be healed was healed. And I saw signs and wonders and miracles. And I absolutely believed it was Jesus. He taught us all about love and went through the scriptures. And I thought it had to be Jesus. But it ended up that, and no, it was not. It was a false, fake Jesus.
Mm.
And so when God Himself revealed to me what was going on, I had no choice. But I had to say, guys, something's wrong here. And I tried to get them to, look at it, but they wouldn't. Instead, I got shunned. And so it's just been that way, guys. It's just the way it is. I mean, it's this happens. Jesus talked about it. Choose today whom you will serve, right? And so anyway,
So the kids sided.
so the kids sided with my husband, and who is the cult leader. So he's really got them brainwashed. And the Lord revealed to me that they're also in a Stockholm syndrome. So it's not just brainwashing, but it's also Stockholm syndrome. So they're in a bad way. And I my heart goes out to them. It really, really does. They're all grown up now. They all have children, all of them. And of course, they feel obliged to keep me out of their lives and not ever know them or meet them, because it's, I'm of the devil, right? I left their cult. But
Yeah.
anyway,
So is shunning a part of that group too? Is that
yes,
policy? Is that
yes.
policy?
No, yeah, yeah, I guess it is.
Okay.
I don't, I mean, yeah, it truly is, because they did that to one of my sisters as well. Same exact shunning for not doing as you're told. So yeah, yeah, it sure is.
They were going to save the world.
Yeah. So, I've committed the unpardonable sin, blasphemy, because I say that the person who's speaking through my husband is really the devil. And so that's what that's what got me kicked out.
I
I'm
think
sure they like to hear that.
Well,
I,
I said it in a loving way, guys. I really, really did. I was really gentle about it, but I still had to tell the truth. And it didn't go over very well. Even as loving as I was and as humble as I was, it wasn't gonna fly. So
yeah.
uh they love their dad, and he'd already turned them against me before I figured it out. I didn't know it, but he was slowly turning them against me because he was falling in love with my sister, and he ended up marrying her about,
Oh,
well,
wow.
20 years ago now. So they just had their 20-year anniversary, but they call her mom now and reject me. So
Wow.
Wow.
it's pretty messed up.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
Very
poor
sorry,
Oh,
Joy.
Joe.
it's okay,
Yeah, I'm
guys.
sorry.
It's okay, And, believe it or not, I feel like this kind of stuff goes on in all families, as weird as
Yeah,
that
unfortunately.
sounds. It's just nobody wants
See,
to talk about it.
see,
That's all.
you're right.
Mhm.
Everybody has the opportunity to reveal their character.
Mm-hmm.
It's a
Yep.
personal thing. Characters get revealed, and I think honestly, we have. I have to accept it. I have to accept that if my children are doing what they really themselves desire, I have to respect
That's
that
right.
character. I have to respect
That's
that.
right. Yes, my children really feel that they're giving up their mom for God, and that's pretty honorable, because they do a really good job honoring God with that sacrifice they made to the mother that they adored and loved, and that's a pretty big sacrifice. So, I honor them in their decision, even though I don't feel it's the right one. But that's not my business. They've got to work that out, and God will see to it. He's a big God, and they have Him to cry out to and ask for help and surrender to, and I had to surrender God to God too. We all have to, and they will in the right time. And like I said, maybe not in this lifetime, but it's what it's meant to be. And I it says in the Bible that every day was ordained and written in God's book before one of them came to be. It's in the Psalms. So if that's the way it is, then why would we question God about it? Every day was ordained and written in His book before they came to be. So He knew all of this was going to go down. So there's no surprises. There's really nothing wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So that's weird to think that, but
Yeah.
and your enemies would be those of your own household. I mean, come on, how clear can you get? You know? So anyway.
Thank you, Angela. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Well,
Of
hi there,
course.
Angel.
Hi, Dallas. Want to
Cheers.
say hi to Dallas?
Well, hi there.
Hi,
And I give
Dallas.
my greetings to today as well.
Hello, Dallas.
Well, hi there, Joe Fran.
Hi, Dallas.
Well, that was a great point hearing what June and Angela had to say, and so many. It is true that we can have a real relationship with the Lord,
We need
and
to.
it ain't through that it ain't through that call either.
No, we allow ourselves to be on the journey that we want to be on. Personal. It's a very personal thing. Gail, how are you?
Oh,
I'm
hi
good.
there, Gay.
I'm good, thank you.
Hello.
Hi. I just like to add about the forgiveness. When I was working with co-ed adults that were sexually abused, forgiveness was one of the topics, and we taught them that to heal and recover, you don't have to forgive. I like what William said, and Matthew said, and I agree with him 100%. If you forgive the abuser who's still abusing you, you're actually giving them permission to continue.
Right.
And I think what the Jehovah's Witnesses did to me with my own daughter's situation, they viewed forgiveness as a necessary step in healing. But that is not true. It's not mandatory to heal somebody. And if you force someone to forgive somebody before they're ready to forgive somebody, that can do a lot of harm and damage to their psyche.
Yeah, that's
Right.
true.
So it's a process that you do personally on your own.
Well, that's a I agree with Gail. See, that in itself is a transaction as well. The forgiveness. In other words, if a person is begging you and on their hands and knees and tearing themselves apart, seeking forgiveness, that's different.
Right.
Than someone who doesn't even acknowledge what they did. It's totally different. So, and that's at the time, that's a transaction that each one of us can figure out. It really is. But requirement? There's no requirement.
No, it's not a requirement.
No.
And people and the witnesses get that all messed up because they think, oh, gee, if I don't forgive the person, I'm in trouble with Jehovah. But they've got that some mixed up.
Well, see, what they do, they know that they're guilty.
Right.
So they require people to forgive them for everything that they're continuing to do wrong.
Mm-hmm. And the other thing is the witnesses view CSA as a sin and not a crime.
Not a crime. Yeah.
So they will be disfellowshipped. Maybe they'll go to prison. They'll come back. They're reinstated, and they're back in the congregation so that they can abuse more children.
Right. It happens all the time.
That is a crime.
Yeah, it is. It certainly is. I also wanted to touch on anger. I'm actually struggling with that. I'm getting better. In 2016, I lost my aunt that I was extremely close to, my dad a month later. My brother died a month after my father.
Jeez.
And that was all in 2016. And then my cousin died in November of 2016. My baby sister is an active Jehovah's Witness, and she did some despicable, cruel things to the rest of her siblings. And I was an active witness at the time. And I'm telling you, I wanted to choke my sister because of how cruel and horrible she was. She would actually go to all the meetings with me, come to my house and stay over. Then as soon as my dad died, because she wanted all this money, she turned on all her siblings. So I had a lot of hate in my heart for her. And I don't like to do that because I got on my hands and knees and prayed to God a lot about it, because all the elders did for me was printed out all these scriptures about anger. They didn't sit down with me and talk to me and go over things. No. They just handed me a bunch of scriptures. Yeah. So I did a lot of praying to my Heavenly Father nonstop. And I did a lot of crying, and then I finally let go. But every now and then, because I come from a large family, my sister's name pops up, and she's doing some evil things, and they think she's wonderful in the Kingdom Hall because she goes out in service every week. But I'm still struggling that, but I'm a lot better than what I was, because I don't want anger in my heart. I don't want any place for it. I really don't. I don't want that energy.
Good for
No,
you.
that's good.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Joe and Fran, can I mention something to Gail if she's comfortable?
Yes, go ahead.
Gail, I want to just say thank you very much for acknowledging all of that and sharing all of those things. It's almost like you were reading my mind. Because I've got my own confession, anger or just flipping out. It'll be like I can see that there is a danger that is coming in, and I'll point it out and I'll say, there is the danger, folks. Here it is. Let me spell it out for you. There's the evidence. It's not like there isn't evidence. There's evidence. Here, this is a bomb here, and it's potentially lethal. I had a Bible study who missed the bullet from this kind of thing, and I'm told, shut up.
Wow.
Shut the hell up, Matt. And when that happened, because of the distress, because I know the extreme danger and the near misses, and it's been accumulative over not just 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, I mean 30 years. And I'm seeing somebody with a little smiling face, and they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I'm having to leave the room, and I can feel I have to get, because I'm shaking, I'm physically shaking. My nervous system has come to that point that it actually can't recover so easily. And I'm going, I have to remove myself from the place. But as I'm removing and I'm going far, I'm screaming because my subconscious no longer trusts my conscious mind anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm struggling with that, Gail. I don't know. That's just time and healing, and I don't know if some of that can actually be healed in our lifetime. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a terrible battle within yourself. I haven't spoken to my sister since 2016. I often think about her, and I don't understand why she turned on me. That hurt me more than my own father's death. Yeah. What my sister did to me, that really cut my heart, because I thought we were sisters, not just spiritual sisters, but biological sisters, and that hurt. It really did.
Yeah.
Have you got any tips and tricks?
I do a lot of praying. I exercise. I was exercising like a crazy person at one point, because that releases your endorphins, and instead of, see, I have the tendency to hold the stress in, and my doctor told me that was the worst thing to do. I'm a terrible worrier, and I hold everything in, and then I get sick, and I can't afford to get sick. Like I had pneumonia twice last year, and I know that my stress is in my lungs and my chest area, so I try really hard not to think about her. I try to replace my thoughts about her with something else, or I'll go do something.
I got to weigh in on this.
Okay.
Sometimes we're inclined, to want to do something. Something has to be done. It's an alert reaction. Maybe it's an even attack reaction. Something needs to be attacked. But like you said, there's a war going on in your mind too. You can't do it. You won't do it. So there's a conflict. But something has to be done. In other words, unless we do something, we'll build that stress up. So somehow,
I agree.
Something has to be done, and I'm not. We don't always know. You have to convert. You have to be very creative sometimes.
It's different for every person.
Right. May I say? May I? Yeah, Matthew, may I address something that you mentioned about tips and tricks? I too have suffered from anger for a very long time. And one of the tips or tricks for me that's really helped me, I'm not a Christian anymore, and I'm on a different road, but meditating has really like been a road that's helped me control some of the negative feelings that I have. And to what Gail said earlier about not having to forgive people, I think the word that was used in the organization was mixed up with reconciliation, I believe. And so I think forgiveness is something that, I really believe it's about ourselves.
Yep.
Letting go of the resentment and the anger and leaving it with the person. And meditation has really helped me with that. I just wanted to share that tip for me. That helped me. Yeah.
Well, I had to pray to God to forgive me. I mean, I wanted to kill my sister, literally. I did. I was going to actually go over there and punch her face, but I couldn't. I know I can't.
She hurt you. She betrayed you.
I can't. That's the Italian. I want to go out and fight. But I asked God to forgive me because I had some really horrible thoughts about my sister. And I had to calm my other sister down because she wanted to kill her too. And my father's girlfriend, who my father was with for a long time, my sister barred her from going to my father's funeral. So she got drunk and called us up and was going to go to my sister's house. I goes, "Oh, you don't do that. Don't do that. You'll be arrested." So at the beginning, I had to ask God to forgive me because I had some terrible thoughts about my sister. I wished her harm, which was a horrible thing for me to do because I wouldn't do that today, but I wished her harm. I know you're not supposed to do that, but I was so angry at her for what she did to my own brother. We think she had a part to play in my brother's death and then taking my father's estate and taking everything.
Wow.
So it was very difficult for me to control my temper and my anger, but I'm getting there.
Good for you, Gail. We appreciate you sharing that.
Gail and Marisa, thank you very, very much. Thank you, Fran. Let me turn off my mic, but I want to say thank you very much for your vulnerability and sharing for that question. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Matthew. Yeah, hang in there. We want to just welcome Linda James, the Pasta Babe.
Hi, Linda.
Hi, everyone.
Well, hi there, Linda.
Hello. It's good to see you guys. And can I just offer a human right? Article 18 from the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which is something we are entitled to, and it falls under freedom of religion. Now, know this, the organization has gone to court many times, most of the time, demanding their freedom of religion, and they are in fact entitled to it, okay? But so are we, okay? So are we, because this is universal. This is supposed to be for all people, depending on which country you live in. I don't know if everybody gets to live in these human rights, but at this point, this is a human right that in the US we are still entitled to. And I'd like to read it. It's not very long. It's Article 18. Everyone has the right to freedom of thought, conscience, and religion. This right includes freedom to change his religion or belief, and freedom either alone or in community with others, in public or private, to manifest his religion or belief in teaching, practice, worship, and observance. Now, in the middle of this, it said, this right includes freedom to change his religion. This was a big no-no within the organization if we chose to not be in line or in harmony with what the Jehovah's Witnesses or the governing body taught. But it is a human right of ours to change our religion, to have different thoughts than what is okay within that organization. So just as much as the leadership is entitled to it, so are we, and so are you, And I also wanted to talk, so there's 30 of these, and it can be found, this Universal Declaration of Human Rights, at probably one of the favorite places of all time, at the United Nations, yes. It's at the United Nations. That's where you can find your Universal Declaration of Human Rights. And yes, the organization has taught us to think a certain way mentally and stuff like that. But within Watchtower literature, they've shown Eleanor Roosevelt holding up this big old piece of paper that showed all 30 of those human rights on it. And so it has been something the organization has mentioned, which if they have to put up. Long story short, if you're going to be, I don't know if everybody knows this, but they were in fact discovered to be a non-religious organization with the United Nations, which they have, of course, taught us not to be any part of the United Nations. And I've looked into it. I've seen the different meetings that they've shown up at, and to be honest, it's really no big deal that they were involved in this, but they taught us not to be, so it is a big deal. Okay, so they know their rights, and it's good if we knew our rights as well. And this thing about forgiveness, I was listening to Gigi talk about, the stuff that's gone bad, and there's deception, there's all kinds of things that people have done or we have done even, and I don't think forgiveness is something that is like forgiveness is not because somebody came to us and requested forgiveness, and maybe they have, and maybe it's on your heart to forgive, but I think the theory about forgiveness is more about us letting go of like a big ball and chain. And if we could lay that aside and for it to not burden us, then that's healthy for our psyche. And it doesn't mean that it's okay what was done to us, and it definitely does not mean that we have to be in relationship again with that person. That if we've chosen to forgive because it's a relief for us, it does not mean that we can be in relationship. The organization, I cannot tell you how many stories I've heard. CSA victims are, next thing you know, somebody's reinstated, they're a perpetrator, then their parents are talking to them, and they ask their parents, why are you talking to them? And the parents of the CSA victim will say, well, if Jehovah forgave them, I have to. Oh my God, what betrayal that must be for them to be going through this. And it's a common thing, so that's what we're taught within the org, is to be back in relationship with those that we forgive. And that's not necessarily the case. And I think what Gigi said as well, you don't have to forgive if you ain't in the place where you want to forgive or see any good reason for it. I don't see a problem with that. I don't think it's mandatory to have to forgive. But if you do find a reason, or if you do see the purpose of it, that it might actually benefit us, not necessarily the person that we are hurt by or whatever,
Linda,
not even because they deserve it. Yes.
Linda, you just spoke the same thing that I had in my mind, that forgiveness needs to serve a purpose.
Yes.
In other words, it's not just because you should. It's like it'll result in something better that'll make you feel good and improve the situation. Otherwise, for example, would it be of any value to forgive the Watchtower Society for the evils they've done? No. No. It won't do any good. It won't do a person any good. No, it won't do it. They don't deserve forgiveness. They don't. We're not required to give it to them.
Right.
But in some circumstances, with some people, we know that if I forgive, it'll make things better for me and for them. And that's personal. It's a personal journey that you take, and no one forces you.
May
I
I say
agree.
something, Joe?
Yeah.
Sure. I was really angry at the Watcher for. I wonder if I can hear an echo.
Yeah, there's an echo
Somebody's
going
got
on.
something on.
Linda, do you have two devices on? Someone might have two devices.
No, I do not. I actually, no. And I have my mic turned off.
You sound good.
Yeah, you sound good. Maybe someone else has an echo.
Try.
The echo's gone. Oh no,
No.
it's not.
It's not gone.
So weird.
Let's try this. Can everyone mute themselves? And I think Marissa wanted to say something. Maybe we'll get rid of the echo.
Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, yes.
Yes. No
Okay.
echo.
Yeah,
No echo.
yeah. So I just want to say, like, even with the Watchtower, Joe, like, God, I was so angry at them for. I mean, I don't have kids. I didn't go to college. It affected so much their ideology, their hate, and everything. It just almost drove me to the brink of jumping off a cliff. But at some point, I had to release that
Yeah.
anger as well. I mean,
Yeah.
anger has its place,
Yeah.
but I even had to forgive the Watchtower because it served a purpose for me at the time. I had beautiful memories with people that I still love.
Yeah.
It taught me a structure. There was structure in my life where, not that I wouldn't have had structure outside, but at the time, that's what I needed.
Yep.
And I think when I was in the organization, it was really easy for me to say, okay, black and white, good and bad. And so I never really had to think about anything. The Watchtower told me everything.
Yeah.
And so when I left, I was like, okay, now you're in the bad category, you know?
Yeah.
But I had to release that too, because I think there are a lot of decent people, even higher ups, that believe that they are doing God's will, as twisted as it is.
I believe that.
You know?
Yeah.
So
No.
I don't know.
No.
I feel better anyways now that I've let it go.
It's our individual right to do to forgive or not to forgive. And that's it. And you exercise that. And that's what we need to do.
I also wanted to mention about Annie, how she spoke of getting to a place where she just kind of just let it go, you know, not necessarily visually telling herself I've forgiven or whatever. She just kind of it just isn't such a priority in the front of her brain as much, you know. And I remember, like, last week or maybe a week or two, I mentioned a Jehovah's Witness doctor that turned me into literally told me I have to call headquarters, right?
Oh,
So
no.
guess what? I've been pretty pissed at his ass for quite a few years too. So
maybe you can figure,
yes.
Maybe you can figure some kind of revenge.
you know, my mind wanted to eventually meet him and let him know you did me wrong. And you know, I fantasized about that. I didn't fantasize it being like I get to punch him out or anything, but just to be able to stand there and say, you've done me wrong, sir. Well, I didn't know his name. I would keep asking my mom for his name like I forgot it, right? So finally, I hear somebody talking about him on a show.
Wow.
He used to go to Her Kingdom Hall.
Wow.
And I got the information of his name. So I looked into him and I saw all these reviews that basically say this dude's a nutcase. And then what I ended up finding out was that his wife left him and his son committed suicide.
Wow.
And when I saw that or knew that, I was able to let it go.
That's right.
You know, I just was like,
we call it karma.
almost like karma hit him, or just, I just knew life has hit him hard.
Yeah.
And my desire to have my little place and tell him he's done me wrong, it's not necessary. For some reason, it just hasn't been necessary. I just let it go, you know?
You know,
And
Linda,
that was easy for me to do that. Yes?
that reminds me of Fred Nietzsche said, "Be careful you fight with monsters, lest you become one." And so, be really, you know, I'm so mindful of where I put my energy now, because I don't want to turn into a monster.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I think our insight and discerning tells us that there's a saying that says, let me get this right now. If you're heal, all heals will be. Oh, I can't get it. No, I'm sorry. Got a brain. Time wounds all heals.
Heals all wounds.
No, it wounds all heals.
It wounds all heals?
Yeah.
Time wounds all
A
heals.
heel is a really low person.
Okay.
Low,
okay.
Good for nothing. He's a heel.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. I never heard it that way.
Time wounds all heals.
Wow.
as much as time heals all wounds. So it's something to think about. And it happens. It's real. It's karma.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like Brian is back. Brian, did you want to add something?
Hello, everyone. Well, I was listening to what the different perspectives on forgiveness. And I know I had an experience not too long ago where I felt betrayed by my sister, and I realized that I knew I did not feel forgiveness for her, but I also knew that I had to get through the period of the anger from it, and it had to take time because I'm one of those people that I may get angry, but I don't get angry. I don't stay angry for too long, and I sometimes find myself forgiving people that I may have sworn off, but then I'm like, well, I forgive them, but boy, am I gonna fall into the same trap, So, and again, my brain is forgetting what I'm doing, but yes, you don't have to interact with people in order to forgive them. Just don't let them rent space in your head anymore.
Right, exactly.
That's it.
Yep.
Whenever I had a breakup with a girl, that I'd always they'd be stuck in my head for a little bit after, and I'm not enjoying being angry at them. I just want to move on. I don't.
When you think about it, the person that you're angry with, here you are, you're in this state, you're using all this energy and emotions, and you're just so riled up and everything, and the other person is living like nothing has happened and they're having a great life. So where's that emotion really going? It's going on us. So we have to be careful and careful how we
maybe we want to make the distinction between letting go of it but not forgiving. In other words, I don't forgive them, but I'm going to let it go.
Right.
It's kind of like an in-between ground.
Right.
Dan, I see Dan back. Dan, did you want to add something?
Yeah, I've been just enjoying the conversation, but yeah, I went through anger for about 10 years, and really severe anger. I mean, really wanting to hurt brothers, and I kind of carried it over into churches too. When I went into the churches, I wanted to kick the pastors through the wall, and I jumped up in churches and yelled and televised churches, and I kind of was really off the deal for a while. And then it kind of smoothed out. And what's interesting was I never did I never really felt bad for the people, like my cousins, and I never really had no anger toward them. They didn't really act out. They were very young, but I always had a problem with leadership.
Yeah.
I always had a problem with like a Stephen Lett that I believe knowingly does what he does. I believe he sold his soul for soup. I believe he's covert. He reads a teleprompter, and I think he could give a shit about anybody. And so I have a problem with him. But now my uncle, I haven't talked to him in years, only had a couple of funerals, and over the 50 years that he's been in my life, he's old now. And apparently the witnesses have opened up the line for them to talk to apostates. So I had a couple 3-hour conversations with him. And guys, there was nothing to forgive. It was kind of like I understood he was brainwashed. He's 81 years old.
Yeah.
He wanted to read me scriptures. He full-time pioneers, and my heart went out to him.
Yeah.
I was like, God bless him. And I told him, it was kind of cool. It was like talking. I don't mean to sound elevated, but I was like talking to him like a child.
Yes.
I was like, Neil, do you think it was right that the organization told you to not talk to me for 45 years? Do you, now you can talk to me. Do you think they were right? And I got to ask him that, and he said no. And I said, do you think Stephen or Tony Morris was right saying he wished I was dead? You tell me you love me, but he says he wishes I was dead. And and I sent him the video. And I sent him the video of the other guy, Stephen Lett, with the baby.
Yeah.
And I said, do you think that's normal? Like those people are normal? And I've actually got to talk to him and share things. I don't know that he can hear me because he just has the scriptures, all the scriptures, Revelation, Psalms.
Yep.
But I'm not mad at him.
Yeah.
Now I have a cousin who decided to say hi to me, and says, "Hey, hi, I'm Marcy," and I didn't hate her, but I didn't really have any use for her. Like you guys are saying, you can choose. Like, did governing body tell you could talk to me? Now you want a relationship? What's going
Yeah.
on? And I'm not mad at her. I'm not interested. It's like so much time has gone by.
Yeah.
It's like I'm not interested in starting up something. I know she was brainwashed. My brother has talked to me. My oldest brother, he's an elder, and very nice to me. He acts like nothing has ever happened, and I
Wow.
haven't talked to him in years. But I don't have a bad feeling toward him. He's waiting to see his kid in the new world. He had 2 kids die when he was young, and he stayed in the organization so that he'll see him in the resurrection,
Yeah.
which is something they hold over their head, like you guys have mentioned.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, like you guys are saying, there's people you can forgive, and there's people like Stephen Lett, Tony Morris. I know Tony left, but yeah, there's just people that are intentional, I think. Like Jesus spoke directly to the Pharisees: "You whitewash graves, you offspring of vipers, you hypocrites, you don't enter in, you don't allow other in." He was face to face with them. And so that's been hard. Activism is hard, because you've got a lot of people in the JW community that attack each other, and that's hard on me. I grew up in an area where if a guy was to talk about you, his jaw would be wired together, or he'd be on the ground and he wouldn't move. We'd kick him till he couldn't move. And so I grew up in that. So when I see some of that stuff, hate in the XJW community towards each other, man, it's like Linda James says, you want to come through the phone and do some business, but then, like she said, once you understand how dysfunctional they are, how they're in consciousness, they're way down, they're martyrs, they're victims, they're really suffering from low consciousness, then you can grace them. So anyway, I just want to say, I guess you can be all over the place. We're all healing. We're all trying to transcend lower nature, trying to become more perfect, become more like God, more loving. And it is a journey. It's a journey in itself, forgiveness and non-forgiveness. So anyway, I just wanted to share that, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Pardon my.
What? Well, I think that Dan had a nice point to share there. I just do. And what I even have my problems with wrath and rage, fury against that cult. And I've said everything again about it. I've said every cuss word under the sun about the organization. So that's what I've wanted to retaliate even some big serious ways as well.
You make me think, Dallas, that there's we have a certain limit of it. In other words, how angry are you? Well, I'm 3 angry. No, I'm 10 angry. And so, if you're 3 angry, you're going to do something to get rid of your 3-ness, anger. And if you're 10 angry, you're not going to be happy until you get 10 of it out. Be it with ranting or some action taken. I guess we're that way. We have a certain righteous accounting that takes place within us. That's us as humans.
I do agree that sometimes I've had to pray at times, and I've had to, because I've had to and it's because of the so many of them that are lost and oppressed. It's for them. It's my grievances for
Yeah.
many decent ones. That's
Right.
why.
I understand. Yeah.
If I may say something, if it's okay. In
Go
our
right ahead.
in our anger at the time, we feel our anger is justified, and when we want to take action, we feel we have justice on our side in that moment. It's good to just give it some time before you act. So then you realize, wait, this isn't how I want to conduct myself, and maybe they are in the wrong, but there's going to be there may be consequences to my actions, and I don't deserve that.
Yeah.
I don't deserve to put myself through that.
Yeah.
Some
Absolutely.
things it just ain't worth it.
That's right.
And I think I encourage one to find hobbies and pray for and continue loving those who are being oppressed. And as they said, that leadership, I don't think I could ever forgive them for the I think they've committed a sin that is unforgivable sin. I really do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like the Lord's retribution is coming upon them real hard.
Yeah, it's coming.
And pray for the many of the rank and file that they may be delivered and too.
Well, I'm grateful that there are many coming out like we have here.
Yes.
That's what I'm grateful for.
Yeah, it's a great subject, guys, and I'm glad you talked about it. And I just want to say too, in therapy, anger is a part of healing and healthy
It is.
boundaries. Sometimes you got to set boundaries. You got to say, don't ever say that to me again. Jesus had righteous indignation when he spoke to the Pharisees, and so
Absolutely. He did.
it's healthy, and it's healthy to tell somebody to do some of these things. And it's interesting, but that's the part where the balance is. It can be unhealthy where you're really wanting to hurt somebody, or
Mhm.
like the guy just said, you say something, then you regret it later, like I have many times. But there's a righteous anger. There's a part of you that just has to say it, and you won't feel right till you do.
Exactly.
And so, I'm glad we're just talking about it, because it can just be all over the place. We're all healing. We're,
Yep.
we're all learning too, because we were told for years, I was told for 40 years in the witnesses, how to think, how to reason, how to this. And then when you get out, you realize there's a lot more than what the Watchtower tells you on how to deal with people and psychology and all that sort of thing.
Dan, you see, in that organization, we weren't even allowed to do something as simple as called saying my piece.
Right.
I said, I just need to say my piece. We couldn't even do that.
No.
That was gagged. That in itself, saying my piece, is satisfying.
Yeah.
What does that term even mean? Saying my piece. What does that mean?
Well, it's something to think about. Why does a person why does a person say that? I just need to say my piece. Any
Express
ideas?
feelings without having to be taken to the back room.
Right. Okay. It's adjusted. See, it's a analyzing. What analyzing? It's my take on the unjust situation that's taking place here. I need to express my dissatisfaction for what's taking place, as opposed to flying into a violent rage.
Okay.
Can
I
I
just was
mention?
not
Can I
familiar with
mention
that
something with?
terminology.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Fair enough. No, fair enough. It's something I kind of grew up with, and I've heard over and over again. And it just struck me as Dan was saying what he was saying. I said, in the organization, we couldn't even say our piece. Like Dan said, he went to different churches and he'd stand up and make a fuss and whatever. Well, he was saying his piece. Well,
That's so true.
no one did that in Jehovah's Witness organization. No one ever. I never
Joe,
saw that.
I've heard that
Especially
phrase.
women. Especially women.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've heard that phrase.
Mhm.
I've heard that phrase and used it, and I think it's kind of good for a person's mental health
Oh, it is.
to be able to have say their piece,
Oh my goodness. Absolutely.
because then you can let it go.
That's right.
Yeah. See, otherwise we're not acknowledged as a human being. It's
You're
like,
not validated
I'm
that
of no
you're
I'm
right.
of no account.
Yeah.
And you know, I just need to settle this matter. I am of
Mhm.
account and I'm going to express it, and that's it. Boom. As opposed to taking an AK-47 and blowing up the place.
Right.
That's a good point, Joe. I want to
And
make a point
sometimes,
about that. Could I
sometimes
share
I
one
want
point?
to do that myself,
You know,
but not
people
for
have done
real.
that.
There's a
You
time
know,
to do something, and I actually had someone take me to, I guess a hospital for a mental health checkup because I realized this ain't right. I don't want to really do this, but I've been feeling this anger, so I'm glad I did that.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
yeah, there was
Oops.
an article out in a paper one time, guys, about it. I don't know if you guys heard it. A lady read it to me one day because she saw that I was becoming a time bomb
Mm.
because I had so much suppression of anger within me and I wasn't releasing it. And she read me an article about a guy who was, they called it sewing his sheaves. And basically, he was tucking away his anger and
Yeah.
he was smiling at everybody.
Yeah.
And eventually, he was on the front page of the newspaper of
Yeah.
killing everybody in his neighborhood
Yeah.
Wow.
because
wow.
of pent up rage and
Yeah.
anger.
Mhm.
That's
So
no
she was
joke.
telling me, you've got to find a way to release it.
That's right.
And it was true, and it does feel better when you're able to speak your mind, and it doesn't always even sound right. It sounds harsh, but at least you got your voice. And one thing I'm going to say about the XJW community, and what I love is everybody is their own person. Everybody's got their own voice. I love it. Everybody's got their own religion, their own ideal.
Mhm.
Everybody's, for the most part, is accepting. And it's a beautiful thing. And I've noticed if somebody says, hey, what I believe is what I believe, and they'll just say it. And I think it's beautiful that nobody in this community, especially on this thing right here, is afraid to speak their mind. Isn't that beautiful? That you're able to just
I,
say your
Yes.
thought?
Agreed.
I do
Yes.
agree.
It's a
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. I agree. Agree. You know,
Yeah.
there's got something here from. Is someone jumping in there?
It's Debbie Moore just posted something.
Oh, okay. Debbie, they just called me from the hospital and I have to go back. Blood cultures came back bad and I've got to be readmitted.
Oh, I'm so
I
sorry.
don't want to go back again. So sorry, Debbie.
Poor Debbie. We love you, Debbie.
You're with us, Debbie.
Jeez.
You're not alone. We love you.
Keep kicking. There.
I just wanted to add one more thing. When this first happened to me, I was very consumed with anger, so much so that I wished harm on my sister.
Yeah.
And doing that, it was causing me more stress. I liked what you said, Joe, because that's so true. That she walked around like nothing happened, and I'm the
Oh,
one.
you hate that.
I
Don't
know.
you hate that?
I'm suffering inside, and here's this little
Oh.
witch, and
Yeah.
she does dress like a witch, by the way. Well, anyway, she does. She wears black hats and black. Actually, this is a true story. The guy in the neighborhood said, "Is your sister a real witch?"
Wow.
Wow.
And he said, everyone's petrified of your sister. I'm not kidding you. She bought a witch hat in a Halloween store. And
Oh
where's
my
the
God.
pink
Oh my
wall?
goodness.
Well, I want to know what you said. Did you say
Let's
yes?
go ahead.
I want to know what you told him. Did you say yes?
To what?
If she was a witch.
I said he told me that everybody in the neighborhood was afraid of her. I didn't know we didn't know what to say to him. No, my sister said, yeah, she scares the crap out of me too.
Jeez.
Well, anyway, I'll tell you one scripture, and I thank my Holy Father for this. And this is what helped me. I'm actually in a much better state. What I would like I don't know if it will happen, is closure between me and my sister. If my sister came to me and told me she loved me and asked for my forgiveness, I would forgive her in a heartbeat. I really would, and I'd gain my sister back. But the scripture that I look to a lot, God says, "Vengeance is mine. Leave it alone, and He'll take care of it." And that scripture alone resonated with me, and it's helped me in my journey recovering from.
Oh, that's so good,
from
Gail.
anger.
It
Thank you.
I'm glad of that. See, the more we study history and we study relationships, we study circumstances, karma always comes through. It does. It takes time sometimes. But there's always a larger settlement that takes place. There always is,
I
one
have
way or the other.
thought on this. If I may jump in, I believe it would do us better to do kindness towards those we're angry with. Just because if it can confuse them and they may be expecting us to be mean, but if we show them kindness to them,
That's true.
so I believe
What's
there.
the scripture? Pour fiery
Heap
coals.
fiery coals on the head, so as to sod.
Right.
Instead of throwing it at them, literally.
I can appreciate that concept, but that didn't work with myself and my ex-husband. I'll tell you what, because what I was doing was continually place myself positionally to be abused again. So that's I think that's because I had that mindset, like, I'm planting love, why isn't it coming back? It should be showing up any day now. I keep being loving, and it just kept getting worse and worse, the behavior I was receiving. But I do like what you said, but I just had to say what I got. I just had to say my experience. Go ahead, Joe.
To go to plan B.
Yeah.
You always have to have plan B.
I agree.
And
In other
Linda,
words,
you need to realize
the more options you have, the better.
I don't know. Somebody's echoing. I don't know. Somebody's.
Can we
We've got to read something.
Yeah, we've got to read something from Vern.
Can we do this?
Yeah.
All right. It's not very long. It says, mind if I read it?
No, please do.
We want to let everyone know about a very important project coming soon. Many of you know Vern. He's been a voice in this community, sharing his journey out of Jehovah's Witnesses after his daughter was harmed and silenced by Watchtower's system. Vern has put his story into a memoir, a powerful account of loss, survival, and finding life on the other side of the organization. For the first time, this memoir will be read out loud on ExWitness Awake, Jonathan's channel. You'll be able to hear it chapter by chapter, told with honesty and depth. This isn't just a book, it's a warning and a light for those who are still waking up. Keep an eye on ExWitness Awake in the coming weeks for the very first chapter. So his channel is ExWitness Awake. That is Jonathan. Jonathan's from Canada. And he is going to be reading Vern's memoir. So it'll help all of us because he went through a horrible thing with his daughter and how the elders took sides with the abuser.
Wow.
And how he was acquitted and Vern's daughter was punished. As a result, Vern was punished. So I'm not going to give too much of it away, but check that out. I'll be looking for it. It's called ExWitness, one word, ExWitness Awake. And it'll be coming up. I just wanted to read that. Thank you.
I hope we've kind of explored some different alternatives and options because we always find ourselves in situations where we're lacking options. In other words, we may feel blocked in a corner. We don't know which way to turn. We're not sure what to do. It seems like we're spinning in a circle. At that point, we need options. We need more options. And there's always another option.
We're always here for a phone call. This morning we got a text. I think it was 6 o'clock in the morning. We were up and they said, can I talk with you? And we said, yeah. And this person was very, very, very upset. And we listened. And then calmly we talked to the person, tried to give some perspective on it. And this person just needed someone to listen to them and kind of, put it all,
Explore options.
explore options.
Yeah.
And by the time this person was finished, they thanked us and they said, thank you for listening to me. I'm going to have a good day, and I'm just going to go forward now.
And that, I mean, obviously, and that's something you all do with each other as well. You do that with ones that you love. You do that with friends. You explore options with them, and then someone says, "Oh, that's a great idea. I didn't think of that."
Yeah. Ruby wants to come on if someone can just.
I'll jump off.
Okay, thank you, Gail.
Love you,
We love
Gail.
you, Gail. Thank you.
I'm going to go too. It's very good chatting with you. I'll still listen, but thank you for having me on.
Oh,
Bye.
thank you.
Brian.
Anytime,
Bye.
Brian.
Take care,
Anytime.
Brian.
All right.
Hi,
Take care,
Ruby.
everyone.
I think I know what Ruby's going to say.
Hey, thanks, guys. Everyone.
Yeah, well, before our closing announcements, I just wanted to add that it's important to remember that people like me and Linda and thousands of other children that were born in never had the opportunity to learn developmental skills, and that includes forgiveness, among other things. So when I woke up, for example, I didn't know a lot of things, and that included how to forgive people or myself, because thinking about forgiveness, we thought of it through Watchtower's eyes. How do we get forgiveness? We confessed, we went to the elders, we had to beg, we had to cry, we had to prove something even if there was nothing to prove. So that's how, coming out, I was thinking, well, for me to forgive somebody, that person has to beg me, that person has to cry to me, that person has to be on their hands and knees to get my forgiveness. And that's ridiculous. But then now that I'm listening to all of your stories about anger, when you couple those things together, it's almost as if you try to justify not forgiving somebody because you're angry with them, or because they didn't meet your standard of forgiveness. Like, well, you didn't apologize to me, so I don't have to do it to you. And it's always going to be that back and forth. And that was very, very negative and toxic for years. And there was nowhere to go. There was nobody to talk to in the beginning. And so that's why I'm so happy that the community has grown to what it is, because if it wasn't for the community, if it wasn't for these people that we can call, like Rick's show, if there weren't channels like yours that actually spoke about these things, people like me would have nowhere and nothing to change those bad habits. And that's what helped me, was strangers online, Google, and the ExJW community. And even that is a horrible way to learn, but at least we have a platform like this where we can talk to one another, and it's not a comment, it's not a chat, it's not a DM, like you're speaking to a real person, to us, like face to face, virtually. And that's what helped me when Rick interviewed Rami, and she was giving her story about with her mother. And I was going through the exact same thing. And for the longest, I would quietly tell myself, I would never speak to her again. I'm never going to forgive her. I don't care what she does or says. And I was starting to harbor a lot of resentment, bitterness, and hatred, pure hatred, because of how they were treating me and shunning me and all of that, right?
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I heard Rami speak about the same exact feelings towards her mother that I called in for the very first time, and I told her, like, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think I hate my mother. And I I would never have thought of saying something like that. But it was the anger and all that negativity that made me believe that I hated her so much that even if she did apologize or even if anything, I would kick it and be like, I don't care because of how you treated me and how you left me and how you emotionally abandoned me and everything, right? But Rami told me in that phone call exactly what we're talking, like how we're speaking, like how you guys are speaking to us, of how it's not about the other person, it's about you, and all of these healing techniques. And if it wasn't for that, I would have never learned how to let it go and move on and not worry about what she's doing to me, just worry about myself and to forgive or let go and not torture yourself over it. That it, like it's said and done. That's it. Because I was always seeking for that begging, get on your knees and and beg me to talk to you again because of how badly you treated me. But I'm
Yeah.
over that. I'm done. And
You've
if it
grown.
wasn't for Joe and Fran, it those other pieces would have just stayed there in pieces. But little by little, it came together. It came together. I stood, in the community. I contributed. I participate. You know what I'm saying? Like I did something with myself.
That's right.
And not stay stuck to that all that negativity. But we're learning that now, later in life, unfortunately. But at least we're doing it. At least we're
Oh my
here. At
goodness.
least we're changing. At least
Oh, you guys are, we're doing fabulous.
And
Look,
yeah.
Dan brought out the point, Ruby, is that sometimes we really don't need to forgive. We need to understand. In other words, if I can only understand what makes my so-and-so act the way they do, I wouldn't hate them. You know what I mean? And then you start to understand them and realize, oh, I get it. I don't feel so bad now. It's understanding in most cases.
And Ruby, we've seen you grow so much. I've said this before. We've been doing this on Vern's channel and our channel for a couple years now. We were on Rick's channel, and we've seen you grown. We've seen you grow, and we really appreciate your insight.
It inspires us.
It does. All of you, everyone here, everyone in the chat, we really truly appreciate. You do inspire us. You really do.
And our hope is we're not too old to learn.
We're still learning. We will up until we die.
Thank you, because this is a lifeline. It literally is, because if I didn't have you guys or anybody else, it would literally just be me and my cousin Tony. Like that's the only person who I literally talk to, and my dad. But if it wasn't for the community, I would have literally nobody. So
We're here for each other.
yeah. The last thing I wanted to say was that that's why I'm so thankful for Shannon Avery Briggs and her husband John and the show that they do. Because after the show, we kind of talk to each other still, like for 45 minutes, and we brainstorm. And the way she listens, the way she responds, it's truly amazing. How, like, I can't even believe they only left almost less than a year ago. Like they're brand new, and she's already been helping so much because of the content that she brings, and the way she coaches, the way she listens. If it
Steph,
yeah.
Ruby, can you tell the folks when she is on, and maybe put a link in the her and her husband? It's both of them.
Oh yeah, definitely. Their YouTube channel is called Deservingly You, and I share it all the time, so I'll definitely share it. If not here, I'll do it on Discord. Um, because she's amazing, and when I talk to her, I tell her, I give her like so many ideas for her titles and just content, and I tell her, please, like keep remember people like me. Remember that we don't know how to do very simple things. Like how I told you guys about friendship. I still struggle with that. I
I'm so
you know, we
sorry.
struggle with such simple things that should be so obvious and easy, but they're not. And and that's the brain that you're talking to. You're not talking to a normal person. You're talking to somebody who was very sheltered and in a cult that didn't allow us to do these things when we were children. That's when you're supposed to learn these things. How to make a friend when you're like in kindergarten.
Yeah.
But we didn't do that. So so it's very hard, and I love the way she brings it to us. So anyways, that's all I wanted to add. Thank you guys.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Ruby.
Ruby.
Well, thank you, Ruby, for
Ruby,
sharing.
would you put Sharon? Would you put the website so that we could look? I looked it up and I can't find it.
Okay, I'll share
Deservedly
it.
You.
Yeah, deservingly you.
Deservingly.
I'm gonna share it in the chat right
Thank
now.
you.
Yep, got it.
Thank you so much.
Oh, Ruby, did you want to tell us the movie tonight?
Oh yes. So tonight we're gonna watch a really fun movie, and I have seen this. It's a classic. We're gonna be watching Grease.
Oh, wow.
That's a goodie.
Yep. And
Great.
I like that movie. I mean, these were the type of movies that my mom would only allow me to watch. And even that was a little risky because, you know, the female character gets a little rebellious.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is a good movie. It's fun. So if you want to join us on Discord, join us, and I'm gonna start it at 10. Is it 10? Okay, we got like 5 minutes.
Great. Look forward to it. Thank you, Ruby.
Thank you, Ruby.
And thank you all, everyone.
Yeah. We've got, what, 5 minutes? Did you want to any concluding remarks?
Go ahead, remark.
No, I don't know. I'm asking you.
No.
From what we talked about
Our
tonight.
journey. Treasure your journey. Treasure your ability to journey and to be and to be adventuresome. It's your life. If you don't live it, no one else will. Enjoy it. Make mistakes. You'll learn from it. Your mistakes are what you're going to learn
That's
from.
right. Yep. Experience is what we gain after we needed it the most.
Yeah, that's right. That's the truth.
Yeah.
It's real. Thank you all for being you,
Yes.
contributing.
Thank you. Thank you, Matthew and Dallas and Marissa, Kev and Annie and Apostababe and Brian, Gail. Thank you, Gail. Dallas, Angela, Dan.
You know, maybe I'd like to say now, it's to anyone that cruises the internet, it's pretty obvious that there's some serious things taking place around the world. They're very serious things, which most people don't even know how to react to. In fact, we don't, because they've never happened before, or they're such large. And there was a time when the only thing you knew was what your radio station told you on the news, if you had a radio. And then the television came on with a station, and then several stations. And that's all you knew, was your circle of influence. It was small, very, very small. So now we know what happening around the world. And so much so that we have absolutely no control over it. But we absorb so much distress over it, especially if it's distressing. There's a lot of distressing things taking place, a lot of distressing things. And the reality is, it's all going to pass. It's all going to pass. We don't know how it's going to pass. We don't need to know how it's going to pass. We do not need to know. The biggest thing that I would say personally that we need to know about ourselves. You know, how I react and how I should react in order to stay peaceful.
Right.
Should I stay peaceful?
Absolutely.
Someone called us the other day and they said, have you done anything exciting? And I said, exciting? And it's like, don't get me excited. I'm trying to stay peaceful. We don't look for exciting things. We look for peace in our lives.
I appreciate what Wild Wall said. He said 3 hours go by so fast on here, but man, 2 hours at the hall seem to last all day because of the
That's so
treasure.
true. That is so true.
We
Thanks
appreciate
for
everybody.
the reminder, Wild.
Yeah, we appreciate everybody coming on and really making it a success. Thank you so much.
For sure, it would not be the show it is without everybody here, and of course Joe and Fran. If we could just do one quick thing before we sign off. I have these queued up if you just want to share them.
This was from the Daytona Beach, their first meetup, and on the left we see Craig. They're from Florida, and on the right we see Morgan. And Morgan has only been out since this past memorial, and he organized. I think there were 4 or 5 people that came. There's another picture. There was they were at a coffee place. The one in the middle is an ex-Pentecostal that happened to be there and joined the group.
Wasn't there also
and there was
ex?
also a PMO.
But wasn't there an ex?
Mormon?
No. What's the other? Scientology.
Yes, there was a Scientologist there. They didn't get in the picture.
Yeah.
But anyway, we appreciate Morgan, and he's going to have another meetup in Florida. He's going to have it in a different place rather than Daytona Beach. He wants to mix it up. So if anybody is in the Florida, we'll let you know ahead of time. We let a family know. They almost wanted to go, but it was the last minute. So meetups are great.
Yeah.
Meetups are great. If you can do a meetup in your area, you don't have to have 15 people.
2 or a dozen. 2 or a dozen.
You can meet someone for coffee.
People.
We know that there's a lot in North Carolina. They're on the chat here. There's one coming up in North Carolina. It's right on ExJWFriends.
Yeah.
If you can make it, they're just so peaceful, so happy, so loving. It's nice to talk to people in person.
I love you all.
Love you.
Keep
Good night.
living our lives with love.
Yes.
I love you, Vern and Shauna.
Thank you, Vern and Shauna. Thank you so much. Thank you all for joining us. We love you.
Good night, everyone.
Love you too. Have a
Well,
great
take
week,
care.
everybody.
Yep.
Love you all.
We'll have the outro.
Like, yeah, y'all take care. Yeah.
You too.
You all too.